can take or leave Pete Rose, but he's the all-time hit leader.
He's my all-time hit leader, yes.
Anyway.
But, of course, Hank Aaron was my all-time home run leader.
So Forrester says Ichiro that much greater than Jeter? Scott, are you out of your mind? Why is Ichiro that much better than Jeter?
Because Jeter's overrated. Oh, I said it.
Overrated. Wow.
I said it.
Wow.
Over some slap hitter?
Some slap hitter. My God.
What do you have, 8,000 singles?
We need to take this combo to the pennant, Grace. So.
Ichiro is one of the best baseball players that ever lived.
I agree with you, Forrester. CC Sabathia goes in. Billy Wagner goes in. Veterans Dick Allen of the White Sox, Dave Parker of We Are Family Pirates. They go in. Just missing Carlos Beltran and Andrew Jones.
I saw Chipper Jones tweet about this.
Yeah, the good news is most believe Andrew Jones will get the call next year.
Hopefully.
To go in 2026. The Atlanta Braves, great there. So that from the baseball world. Our final thoughts before we get out of here, brought to you by our friends at Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken, Highway 119 in Alabaster. They bring you this hour of the show at Champy's Chicken, champyschicken.com. Go see Sterling and the crew right there. Brined overnight, cooked to order fried chicken and all the great sides. It's just good eat. It's just good eating. Worth the drive down there on Highway 119 in Alabaster, champyschicken.com.
I mean, Jeter had the same batting average and more home runs. I just don't see, the one thing Ichiro did great was hit.
Yeah, and he won championships too.
Jeter won championships and was better in the field than Ichiro.
Yeah.
I don't get this.
And Jeter played with way better teams,
so I penalize
better
him.
Teammates. He's surrounded by more talent.
I penalize it because he's a Yankee?
Yeah.
He's overrated.
Jeter's deserving. He's not overrated, but Ichiro is really, really one of the best players of all time, in my opinion. Best hitters of all time, I should say. NFL news before we leave. We told you this amazing stat about Bills Chiefs earlier in the show that if Mahomes beats Allen this time, it'll be the first time in NFL history that a quarterback has beaten another quarterback 4 straight times in the playoffs. Coaching moves. Vrabel with the Patriots has hired Josh McDaniels again to be the offensive coordinator of the New England Patriots. I hope he never sells his homes when he's in Foxborough, that he only
rents them.
He rents them out when he's not there, or maybe he makes it his winter home or something, or summer home.
Well,
he's gone back and forth to New England more than anybody I know.
He has, and I think the question has always been, what is he without Tom Brady? Well, we've seen him without Tom Brady, and it has not been great. This will be another time to see Josh McDaniel without Tom Brady and see how good he is without Tom Brady. I mean, that has always been the criticism of Josh McDaniel is, he was a great offensive coordinator when the Patriots were led by Tom Brady. And it's hard to argue against that if you've seen the rest of his career.
Kevin O'Connell, LT, will tell you, one of the great play callers, gets a extended contract with the Vikings to stay there with them. And the Cowboys, we always portray them as a destination job, right? Mm-hmm. We always paint it like... Yeah. I mean, if the Cowboys called, they got to take it.
Matt Mosley does it. He said the other day, nobody wants this job.
Yep. So much so that right now the leading candidate to get the Cowboys job is current offensive coordinator Brian Schottenheimer.
I was just talking with Aaron Suttles in the lobby. He's up here. He and Lance are about to do a Bama and Bourbon. And he was like, they got to be waiting on Kellen Moore at this point, right? And I said, I would assume, why would it take this long? But if they end up there...
Again, just another offensive coordinator who's now somewhere else, but he used to be the Cowboys offensive coordinator.
Well, that's what we were talking about. He was a genius at one moment with the Cowboys, then he was out of the Cowboys. Now I guess he's back to being a genius.
Yeah, because it didn't go well. And Mike McCarthy's going to call plays now. Yeah. Kellen Moore is out. So maybe not the destination job we always make it out to be. E.G., thanks for reading Trash. LT's back with us tomorrow. Lance and Aaron Suttles, in fact, about to record a brand new Bama and Bourbon, which will drop a little bit later on today. All the insight into Alabama's offseason in football, upcoming signing day, spring practice, and, of course, the tide rolling in Alabama basketball. If you missed that conversation earlier today, you can go catch it on any of our podcast sites, including Apple and Spotify. Until next time, God bless you and God bless America.
Everything Next Round is on demand now in the podcast section at nextroundlive.com. Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios. The Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
All right, we start with a little college basketball in just a second, but we'll get to the AFC NFC Championship game. Some amazing trends to get you ready for the weekend. That is Washington and Philadelphia, 2 o'clock on Fox. Buffalo and Kansas City, 5:30 on CBS. Both of those coming up on Sunday. Some mind-bending NFL coaching hires we'll talk about as well, and potential hires. A lot of college football to get to. But basketball last night, insanity. Our buddy Peter Burns, that we've also sent out from our social media platform. I saw Taylor ranting about this on TikTok as well. 3 games last night, so that's 40, 80, 120 minutes. And teams that ended up losing led for 119 and almost the entire game.
119 and 40
minutes.
seconds.
14 seconds.
14.
So
19 minutes, 14
46 seconds, 3 teams combined and win 3 games.
That may be the most exciting night. There have been more impactful nights, but there's the tweet here from Peter. But that may have been the most exciting night of finishes in SEC basketball history. It was absolutely crazy. Let's start with, I don't know, you pick one. Pick one of the
Let's
three
go Ole
leagues.
Miss, Texas A&M.
That's where I was going to go
That was
anyway.
the most impactful because that's 2 ranked teams.
2 ranked teams, and in that game, Ole Miss is at the line, right, with a chance to ice this thing.
Ice it away. In fact, personal for a moment, Lance and I had been at trivia. We rode together, so I dropped him at his house, and I flipped it over to Sirius XM 190, and I was getting the A&M broadcast, and their guy was packing it in. He was bitching about one of the officiating calls, all the things.
Don't you love the local broadcast?
Yeah,
I do.
He anticipated that foul. The referee that called it was behind the dribbler. I mean, he is so pissed. So he's already packing it in. So I packed it in myself. I started looking for another game, and then I get home and I'm like, holy crap, A&M won that game.
Yeah.
How did they win that game?
So 62-60 at the free throw line, seconds remaining, and they miss the free throw, and A&M goes down and hits the 3, and they walk out with a win, and without ever leading until those final ticks of the clock.
And if you're Chris Beard, you feel like you stole one in Tuscaloosa.
Yep.
And now you gave this one back. Their first home loss of the year, and with their defense, you just don't expect them to blow a lead like that, and especially Wade Taylor IV, A&M's best player, back for his second game. He was bad last night. He's just off right now. 4 points, 5 turnovers, but they close on an 11-2 run. I had A&M plus the points last night. I never expected them. We'll get to the game that I lost, so it balanced out for me too. I never expected A&M to be able to come back in that environment and win that game. That's a big, big win for the Aggies.
Absolutely.
So if you're scoring on the clock, it was about 12 seconds that A&M led there because Ole Miss got it back and had a couple of shots.
And now they're tied at 4-2. I mean, in that next group that's behind Auburn and Alabama, there's A&M and Ole Miss. That was so massive for Buzz Williams. I don't know that they can win the conference by any stretch. Alabama's already beaten them on their home floor, and they've still got to play Auburn. But, I mean, you're not going to win the conference if you continue to lose games in the first half of the schedule. So, for Texas A&M, they at least kept it within arm's length.
How do you think some of these teams are going to be viewed with 7 or 8 losses in conference?
They should be viewed
by the committee?
Yeah.
Okay, let's get to that after we do last night.
Because I was just going to say, 9 ranked
teams.
teams, I think it's going to be really interesting what you do with seeding when you're playing night in, night out top 15 teams.
Yeah, because, the metrics will keep them. It'll be churning, as Brown says. One of my favorite phrases. Now it'll get into a blender.
Yep.
And
Jim's putting a lot of things in the blender right now. I don't know if you noticed.
It'll continue to churn out great metrics. But also last night, before we do the bad beat, let's go to South Carolina, where Florida is down 14 at one point. Number 5 Florida is down 14 at South Carolina, where we saw them get 8,000 shots in the final 0.6 seconds to have a chance to beat Auburn. And at the end, for about 4.8 seconds, Florida leads that game. They win it 70-69 at the end.
What a terrible loss for South Carolina, too. Now 0-6 in conference. Worst SEC start since 2013, 2014. And Florida was just off last night. I mean, South Carolina shot roughly 50% from the field. Florida couldn't make a basket.
That seems to be what South Carolina does to you there, because Auburn was sort of off when they were there.
I was about to say, I mean, South Carolina is winless, and appears to be the worst team in the Southeastern Conference, and they have had every opportunity to beat both Auburn and Florida on their home floor.
Yeah, that's very scary. And South Carolina was one of the surprise teams of the SEC last year, but Florida down 14 on the road. That's a game you just don't win, as talented as Florida is.
And then there's Arkansas, who was winless coming in. We joked yesterday about Vice Sports' 6-part docuseries, Razor's Edge, Calipari and the Hogs, that's coming out on February the 10th, but just how bad that was going to be with their 0-5 start. And then before the game, Taylor is alerting us all, hey, keep an eye if this goes bad for Arkansas. We probably need to do a video about Boogie Flan, the great freshman, maybe a one-and-done guy to the NBA.
Well, you saw how I responded, right?
With a hand injury.
I saw how you responded.
LT says, no need to shoot a video. Let's save it for after the game.
Yeah, after they lose to Georgia, because I really like Georgia on the road in Fayetteville. People just desperation thinking Arkansas is going to win this game because they were winless in conference. How did they win this game? I didn't see the final sequence.
Oh, you didn't?
No.
It's Georgia, Arkansas. It's tied 65-65. Arkansas comes down. They miss a shot. It bounces around. There's a foul with 1.8 seconds left. The guy goes to the free throw line for Arkansas, hits the first one, 66-65, misses the second one, realizes it's coming up short. He goes from the free throw line, grabs it, and in one motion lays it in at the buzzer in 1.8 seconds to 68-65 win. Arkansas not only wins the game but covers.
Arkansas had pulled everyone off. Georgia has got 4 players, and Arkansas's got the shooter. Not Pat Bradley, but the actual shooter. And
by the way, plus 1.5 Georgia.
Yeah. Oh no, it's as bad a beat as you will ever see. I mean, there's no way that's going to happen because actually with 1.8 to go, if Georgia gets the rebound and quick timeout, they've got time for something.
Yeah,
I don't know if they had a timeout.
But either way, they've got it, and they got a Christian Laettner.
Christian Laettner. If they've got a timeout, they could set a play. If not, you just got to turn and heave. The game's not over. Yeah, this is not just
like your point, Cal has pulled him off the line because we don't want to foul.
That's the one thing that could get Arkansas beat right there is fouling, and Cal's pulled him off the line. The ball does take a pretty nice shooter's bounce.
Yeah.
But there is zero chance the shooter ought to get that rebound. That's just lazy by Georgia. Nobody gets the shooter.
This game was a blowout because we're watching at Odie's. They're down 15. Arkansas shoots 31%. They hit 3 threes last night, 13% behind the arc, and they still find a way to win this game and cover.
Georgia's cruising until the very end, and that's the night in the SEC.
There's no way you've ever had 3 conference teams that are trailing by a combined, I want to say, 40 points collectively, and down 119 minutes, 14 seconds to 120 minutes.
It's as exciting I don't want to call it a meaningless night in the SEC. I guess it just means more every night, right?
Right.
But for a night that didn't decide any championships or anything, it's about as exciting a night as you could have of SEC basketball.
It's crazy. I recorded Bama and Bourbon with our friend Aaron Suttles from Alabama yesterday, and I brought it up. I was like, I normally really don't get into basketball until February.
Till after the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but the SEC is so good this year. It seems like night in, night out, you've got all of this excitement. You've got 9 ranked teams. And it seems like March basketball every night, and you got that last night with the only 3 games on the board. Every one of them was complete drama.
Now, to your point about the committee and how they'll be judged and everything, first, I said something on the show yesterday that for some reason is getting taken as a negative by Auburn fans that somehow I was getting negative tweet from Auburn Twitter last night. But I said yesterday on the show, this point moving forward, LT, that Auburn could lose 4 conference games moving forward and still be a 1 seed in the tournament. And I'm 100% confident of that. I even said on the show that if they lose 5 conference games is when the debate starts on whether they're even a 2 seed in the NCAA tournament. Do you believe that too, that Auburn could lose 4 conference games, end up 14-4 in this league with their resume as the number 1 overall seed right now, and they'd still be a 1 seed?
Well, I mean, I think the teams around them right now, Duke, I don't know if Duke's going to pick up another loss.
Yeah,
they
Duke,
may not.
The ACC is so
let's
down.
just go on.
There are 4 1 seeds.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Let's just go on and give them one of the 1 seeds. Iowa State in the Big 12 is going to lose another game or 2.
Yeah.
Auburn's already beaten them head-to-head, whatever that means. So
Everything else is just churning SEC at that point.
Yeah, I mean, it really is. Alabama, Florida, Tennessee. I mean, Houston's already got 3 losses. So, yeah, I mean, it sounds weird to say moving forward because at that point, then you're losing, about 30% of your games?
Yeah, they've got 13 SEC games left, and that's me saying if they're 9-4, there's not even a chance they're off the one line. That's 9-4 over your next. That's losing 4 games of your next 13, and that's not even a chance you're off the one line.
So part of the reason this makes sense is if Auburn, if they've got 4 losses in conference, what's the rest of the conference? They're going to be probably a regular season champion.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's going to be impossible with as good as the SEC is to seed an NCAA tournament and not have the SEC regular season champion as a 1 seed, almost regardless.
Well, I don't know who else would sneak up there.
Yeah, well, there's the last bracketology we saw, they had 3 SEC teams as a 1 seed, including Alabama.
Who was it? Tennessee or Florida?
It was Tennessee. It was before
Tennessee's
they lost
4 in the net right now. Yeah.
Tennessee was in the mix.
So your net right now is Auburn 1, Duke 2. If you just seeded by the net, which they don't always do, but it's
it's important.
It's important.
Yeah.
Auburn's your overall 1, Duke's your overall 2, Houston 3, Tennessee 4. Your 2 seeds, based just on the net, would be Iowa State, Florida, Alabama, Illinois.
Yeah.
I do feel really good saying Auburn and Duke are 1 seeds right now, and then everybody else is battling for 2 number 1s.
And my point is, it's hard. It's almost impossible. It would take them falling apart for them not to be a 1 seed at this point. And that's just a credit to everything they did pre-conference and what they've done in conference so far. I would go ahead.
Can you explain to me why they thought you were taking a shot at Auburn?
I don't know. I could read you.
Well, read me a couple.
I think here's what I would say.
No, it had nothing to do with the landmine.
Oh, okay. I thought he was speaking it into existence when he said that Auburn was going to win a national championship. They lost to Yale. When he talks about them having 4 or 5 losses.
Yeah. It's just off of Taylor's tweet. I believe Auburn would have to lose 5 games for them to fall off the number 1 line.
Okay, there is no way even people that hate you could look at that and say, you're taking a shot at my team. So explain to me why they think you're taking a shot at the team.
Eli, that's just not true. It's nearly impossible to go through this SEC without 5 losses, laughing my ass off. I don't even know what you're saying.
No, I think you're probably getting other fan bases.
No, I checked every one of these.
All these are Auburn fans.
Auburn Twitter.
Okay. I checked.
Yeah. No, I did. I was like.
Can you imagine if you would have had social media as a teenager?
No, it's all. I'm glad I didn't.
Hugh Friesen, obviously Auburn fan. I didn't know Rogaine for men caused mental retardation. I don't even think I can say that word anymore.
And I was like, it's a shot at you.
And I was like, dude, are you misreading what we're saying? But my point is, back to the SEC, we're trending towards not just Auburn. Alabama is in a situation they can lose a handful of games and still be in the conversation for a 1 seed when it's over, or a 2 seed, which 1 seed, 2 seeds are always it's 6 of one, half dozen of another, in my opinion. Tennessee is that loss to Vandy. They're in a different situation staring at Auburn this weekend. But I didn't know all the protocols. I knew there were protocols, but the committee, the selection committee, when it comes to conferences, had to change a little bit with the Big Ten and SEC expanding already. But Matt Norlander at CBS writes this. He says it's a lock right now. The SEC has 11 teams in. He says likely.
We're in January.
He's done the math and just the quad 1 losses and wins.
Okay.
He goes,
so he says
11 teams are locked.
Which is that not the record? Am I right about that?
Ties the record.
Ties the record. Yep.
12 is in play, and 13 is a possibility.
How deep does 13 take you right now? Hang on.
It takes you to everybody but South Carolina, Arkansas,
LSU, and Oklahoma.
LSU, Oklahoma. One of those would have to rise up.
Yeah, that's all your 1 or 0 loss teams. So he's saying at least one of those teams is in. If you got to 13, so either Oklahoma, LSU, Arkansas, it's hard to think South Carolina could at this point. One of those 3 turns the ship and makes it.
I don't know how you can say that. Like I do believe. I mean, obviously all your 9 ranked teams are in right now, but I don't like Vanderbilt, Georgia, Texas, Oklahoma. I don't know how you can say those teams are locks.
He's got 11 at lock. That's what Norlander says. But his point was the committee, the top 16 that they seed, and we'll get a look at what the committee thinks is the top 16 coming up here in a few Saturdays.
I'll see if I can find that out. Yeah, when they
usually about a
it.
month, usually 4 weekends or 5 weekends away from Selection Sunday, they do. The committee actually releases their top 16 to sort of let you know where they are in their thinking right now. The projection right now is that there are 7 SEC teams in the top 16. And he says by rule, they usually take the conferences and spread them out of the top 4 seeds, top 16 in the league, and spread them out across each bracket. Like if the SEC had 4 in the top 16, they'd have 1 in the South, 1 in the East, 1 in the Midwest, 1 in the West. You wouldn't be faced in the same bracket. He says they are going to be faced of breaking their own protocol if there are 7 of the SEC in the 16, that you'll have to throw 2 of the best of each, 2 of the best in the league in each 3 of the 4 brackets.
Well, you have to.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a numbers thing. And, unfortunately, fortunately for the SEC, you're getting that many teams in, but you're going to see a lot of SEC on SEC action.
They said that by protocol, they try to avoid, it's against the rules to have first-round conference matchups. They tried to avoid second-round conference matchups. And he says if they get 11, 12, or 13 in, it's impossible to not have the potential of a second-round SEC on SEC matchup. He uses an example.
Was the record the Big East, though?
The Big East is the record.
Well, do you go back? Were there second-round matchups?
I think they...
What year was that?
If you tell me, I'll pull it up.
Yeah, they use that as an example, and I think there may have been one potential that didn't pan out. But he uses the example of Tennessee as a 2 and Missouri as a 7. You can't avoid that, right? The possibility is there. If you've met twice or 3 times, you're not supposed by rule to meet until the Sweet 16 to have a chance to meet the Sweet 16. He's like, it's going to be impossible for them to follow that protocol.
Well, I don't know about that. You can put them across bracket.
Well, that's what I'm saying. There's going to be so many teams in the SEC that have played each other twice. If you've got 11 in, as you try to spread them out.
No,
of
I
the
get
bracket,
that, but I thought you were saying if
you've got to make it to where
you've
they
already
can't-
played 3 times.
3 times, you're not supposed to meet until the Elite 8, I think. And they're just saying.
Well, I just did not realize there were this many protocols.
So Norlander's he's saying they're going to have to, with these, the Big Ten could do this one year because it's now 18 teams, and the Big 12 could, that they're going to have to readjust and or break their protocols just to lay the bracket out there this year. Because another thing that's happened, we lost an auto bid in the Pac-12, but that likely will be a at-large bid that's eaten up by the SEC. It was a fascinating read from Matt Norlander at CBSSports.com.
So, it'll take me a second. Do you have a read to do, and I can answer this question?
Yeah, well, we do. The show being brought to you by our friends at Hemp Hill. They bring you the lock every day. Lance was just telling us, despite the bad Arkansas beat, what a good night it was last night at lanceslock.com, and also for the week.
Yeah, right now we are, quick math, 17. We are 19-7 to start the week. So we are absolutely red hot in hoops, college, and the NBA. Jump on board and win with us. Free play every single day at lanceslock.com. We'll have NFC, AFC championship games up this weekend. Jump on board and win with us. Always brought to you by our friends at Hemp Hill Services, the best in the business. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys there. Whether you experience plumbing, heating, or cooling issues in your home or business, they are ready to serve you. 205-229-2090, hemphillservices.com. Hard to stop a train. Call them today.
Part of the difficulty in this is remembering who was in what conference back in 2011. Was Cincinnati a Big East team still in 2011? Or were they ever a Big East team? Where was Cincinnati in 2011?
Cincinnati in 2011 was...
Seems like they were an American.
An American team?
Maybe.
Okay.
They were not a Big 12 yet.
No, they were not Big 12 yet.
So was it 2011, 2012?
Yep, it was the 2011 tournament, if I am not mistaken. It looks like they spread them out as best they could.
Yeah, that's what they do. But
yeah, I don't immediately see any second-round matchups that were possibilities. I think they spread them out enough.
Okay, I'm going to give you. So Marquette, Cincinnati was Big East.
Okay.
Marquette, Notre Dame, Cincinnati, Georgetown, South Florida, West Virginia, Connecticut, Seton Hall, Rutgers, St. John's, Pittsburgh, Villanova, Providence, DePaul, Syracuse, Louisville.
Well, Cincinnati was a 6 in the West, and UConn was a 3, and they met in the second round. Cincinnati beat Missouri, UConn beat Bucknell. So Cincinnati, UConn played, and then UConn advanced to that game.
There you go.
That was
I think that was the only one.
Okay.
They tried to avoid it and couldn't
Yep.
do it back then. That's what the SEC
Yeah,
is
apparently
facing this year.
Louisville and Syracuse vacated everything that year. That's what it says here. I mean, Syracuse was 34-3, but they vacated everything.
Yeah, that's because of Rick Pitino. And if you're not paying attention, St. John's beats Xavier last night, and St. John's leads the current Big East 8-1. Did you? I mean, I don't know if you're paying attention
I
to
am
other
not.
conferences. The SEC is so good, but great crowd at Madison Square Garden last night. St. John's wins.
Guess what that number was?
What was it?
7.5. Overtime, they win by 8.
8-1. St. John's and Rick Pitino. He is back. So is Calipari. Finally got a win. Here is Coach Cal with the documentary coming up soon, Razor's Edge. Finally getting a W in the conference with Tyson Foods money.
I want this to make me a better coach. I want this to give me some ideas of this is when you win 30 in a row, it's done a couple times, but it's a totally different feel than what we went through. And so this will be, for me, and I told them, if it's going to make me a better coach going through this, it's going to make them better players going through this. But it's hard. You want to win every game. Come on. You know me as a coach and what I've done and what the expectations are the minute I step in. I'm happy we won a game for them, the players. We needed to get off the snide. When Boogie went down, you know everybody was saying they may not win a game. Well, that was wrong. Now let's see what we can do and where we can go from there.
That was
Okay.
fantastic.
Yeah, you stole one, by the way. You shoot 31%. You know, he was a basket away from dropping to 0-6 in conference play, which would have been his worst conference streak, losing 6 consecutive since 1988-89 when he was at UMass.
Yeah, but and that's a lot different, Lance, than winning 30 in a row, which we've done a couple times.
Yeah.
We've done a couple
times. Yes.
He doesn't have an ego at all. Hey, Tyson is known for the chicken. If they, like, packaged a hog up for, like, holidays,
I'd buy it.
don't you think that they could, like, contribute to the NIL by doing that?
Yeah, so I've just got like a whole hog I can throw out on my smoker, and
Yeah.
Tyson's got it for me.
And just all you got to do is market, hey, look, this holiday season, leave the bird, take the hog or something.
That's
Would
right.
you don't throw out $1 million ideas. Would you,
We
is
don't have a
your
processing
smoker
plant.
big enough for an entire hog?
Nah, not
I
for a
didn't think
whole
so.
hog. I mean, a whole hog. We've seen those like at Rodney Scott's where they've got to have the. I mean, you
Yeah.
got to have a big pit
Or
stop
an
for a whole
open
hog.
pit, really, yeah.
I saw a true crime thing where they were investigating this murder a couple of days ago, and they went to the house, and one of the detectives was like, man, this guy's got a nice like smoker like that. And when they opened, he was like,
no.
that
No,
meat
no.
doesn't look real. Yeah, they had dismembered this dude, and they had burned him on the barbecue grill. Would you
doesn't look
cook
like
after
hog.
that? Does that cook off?
I mean, you could burn it off. I could never burn it out of my memory, though.
Yeah.
Like, I do a clean burn at the start of every year, and sometimes do it during the year. Because, you know, if a smoker or grill or whatever.
When I
sticks
take the
outside-
meat off, typically I let it burn.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
But at the like here in a couple weeks, I'll just get a whole bag of charcoal, dump it in my my Kamado Joe, light the fire, and just let it burn all day. I mean, it'll get up to no telling how many degrees, but that cleans it.
Yeah.
That's all you need.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
heat.
Yeah, heat's going to clean it
Heat's
for you.
a cleanser. All right. One more thing to get to here in the opening segment involving baseball, right after Brownie tells us about our friends at World of Wheels. It involves LT's Dodgers, too.
It is coming back to Birmingham, the BJCC, the O'Reilly Auto Parts World of Wheels, which comes up very soon, in fact, January 31st through February 2nd at the BJCC. See custom, classic cars, hot rods, trucks, and motorcycles. New this year, check out the exotic car exhibit. Plus, do not miss the BMX bike stunt team performing outrageous stunts live each day. And kids, meet your favorite costume characters and race Hot Wheels on the free Hot Wheels drag track. Don't miss the Super Show with one-of-a-kind vehicles from across the country. Get your discount tickets today at O'Reilly Auto Parts stores and get all the details at worldofwheels.net.
We continue to break down these LA Dodger numbers on the money they're spending. The one that may be the most mind-boggling, the defending world champions, is they now have $1.38 billion in deferred money out there. Not money they're going to pay out year to year, but deferred money for later on these contracts. By Major League comparison, only the Mets and the Boston Red Sox are over $50 million in deferred money. I'll say it again. The Dodgers have $1.38 billion in deferred money out there. the Mets and the Red Sox are the only two teams that have over $50 million. It takes me back to the Joe Rogan podcast where a guy is talking about millionaires and billionaires, and he says, let me just use a time comparison. If I say 1 million seconds, how long is 1 million seconds? It's 11 days. If I say now 1 billion seconds, how long is 1 billion seconds?
Something like 34 years.
31 years.
31 years, yeah.
So that's the difference between 1 million and 1 billion.
That's right.
Yeah, that's why billionaires can't really spend their money.
Right.
And that's why when people say the Dodgers look like MC Hammer back in the 80s when he declared bankruptcy,
I mean, if you're buying the Dodgers, you are taking on $1.38 billion deferred money if you are going to buy the Dodgers.
But I mean, it really is just funny money that gets thrown around. And hey, look, and that's what's been so, I guess, head-scratching for Dodger fans, and Forster has pulled this up. There are deferred money on the active Dodger contracts right there. But what's been so frustrating is you went from 1988 all the way to 2020 without a championship, and obviously they won it again last year. But really, this should be more Yankees-like, what the Yankees got in the late 90s.
Yeah, but people point out that the Steinbrenners really don't have, relatively speaking to what the Dodgers are spending, they are, in today's market, the Steinbrenners are sort of pro-franchise poor compared to some of the other owners out there, or groups of owners.
Well, look, I mean, the crazy thing is the Dodgers were as beat up as anyone last year. When you looked at the injuries, all of the starting pitching that went down, and they still were able, because of all the depth and all the money that was spent, able to win a championship.
I think, who's the guy that owns the Mets?
Steve Cohen?
Yeah, his money is light years ahead of Steinbrenner's money.
Yeah, by the way, so was the previous owners. They got caught up in that Madoff pyramid scheme, if you remember.
They really did.
Yeah, I think building ships back in the 70s and 80s was big money, right, for the Steinbrenners.
Right.
But, the tech money has blown that away, right?
But keep in mind, nobody's won back-to-back world championships in a quarter of a century. That's
hard to do, man. I mean, we've seen so many wild card teams that have had a lot of success. I mean, it's hard to do in any sport. I mean, that's what's amazing about the Chiefs. I mean, we have 4 teams left in the NFL. The Chiefs are one of those teams, and they're trying for the first ever three-peat in the history of the NFL.
If you were gonna bet Dodgers versus the field this year in Major League Baseball,
I would take the field.
You would take the field, despite all that money.
Despite all the money.
Three MVPs in the starting batting order. 5 aces in the rotation.
Yeah,
4 all-stars in the back end of the bullpen, but you still take the field.
I would still take the field. I mean, for the last 5 years, and this money is getting really out of whack, but for the last 5 years, I think they've had the highest payroll.
Do you believe Dodgers, and I know the Braves fans in our chat room love the Braves, but do you think that in America that the Dodgers now, because of their spending, will have Yankees hate?
Hated.
Yeah. Like the people used to hate the Yankees. It's the Dodgers now. Like everybody will be cheering for anybody to beat the Dodgers.
I would too. I mean, it's an easy argument, right?
It is,
I mean, how do you not win a championship? You spend all the money in the world.
No, I mean, they have tried to buy a champion. People used to hate this about the Marlins, and the Marlins would do it because they would buy it and just turn right around and sell it. That was what felt so yucky about them.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing is, but I mean, if you've got these kind of resources, why would you not continue to try to be on the top?
Yeah. It's not good for your sport, by the way. If you allow teams to kind of manipulate the system and build a superpower.
Yeah, that's what's great about the NFL.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you can't skirt it like this in the NFL. They build it for parity, and that is it's great if you're a Dodgers fan, but if you're just a fan like me that doesn't really have a huge rooting interest in baseball, I just want to see some good games.
Imagine being the Reds. I mean, when's the last time the Reds have been relevant?
You have no shot.
Yeah, they've got to somehow compete in the same league as the Dodgers there.
It's so bad for the Reds. They've got players on their opening day roster that are backup quarterbacks in the Sun Belt now, right?
That have gone to being Sun Belt backup. What's his name? Holcomb down with South Alabama.
The guy that
Buddy Holcomb.
Yeah, whatever his name is.
$372.2 million luxury tax on the Dodgers' salary this year. All right, dumbest sports memorabilia or sports selling in the history of sports. It's up for debate right after Brownie tells us about our friends at Johnston RV.
I-65 exit 304 in Coleman, 334 indicator, and always online at johnstonrvcenter.com. That's where you find them. They are moving out the 2024s right now. That's a great deal for you. The Shasta 16RE, just $149 a month with approved credit. It's lightweight. Something a little bit bigger you want? All right, the Avenger 29 QBS sleeps up to 10, $279 a month with approved credit. Lifetime warranty from RV Warranty forever on anything you buy there that is new or qualifying pre-owned. I-65 exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur, always online, JohnstonRVCenter.com.
Hey, one more Dodger point before you get to this, because part of the ownership group, one of the things they loved was the parking that they actually bought when they bought the team years ago, that real estate. If I asked you guys right now, you can never work another day, but you can have 3-game home set, Dodgers-Giants, and you get every dollar from the parking. Do you think it would be enough money for you to survive the rest of your life?
And I get one time the 3-day?
Yep.
So
Wow.
I mean, what do you think they charge for parking? 40?
Where?
Oh, it's got to be at least.
Dodger Stadium. I paid this 2 summers ago. We were in L.A. We went to a game. I think I paid $40.
I was going to say 40 would be my guess, but I was
to
afraid of.
park right out, basically right behind third base.
Okay.
In the lot right behind
So
third base.
probably
So
$50 now. Is that fair?
yeah, and I think your premium is $60 to $100. That's going to get you right behind home plate, right up to the stadium. I was in a lot right adjacent to the stadium, right next to the stadium, around third base.
You were stadium parking, though. You weren't parking in any.
Oh, no. This is actual stadium parking on the inner ring.
Yeah.
I was trying to avoid the notorious Dodger traffic, and I wanted to get to my car quick after the game.
So,
Which, by the way, that traffic is a bit overrated. It wasn't near as bad as
yeah,
everybody.
it is. 100,000, but it is one in, one out, kind of like the Rose Bowl, that road you go
Yeah, I
up
mean,
and the road you come back.
you're literally coming down into a ravine. There's
So
only one way out
100,000
of it.
fans in 3 nights. How many cars do you think of the 100,000?
You just say 4 per car, 4 people per car.
That's good.
Okay,
call.
so 25,000.
25,000 cars.
25,000 cars times $50.
I'll take it.
It's $1 million, right? A little over.
So I'd make $1 million
1.25?
for a 3-game homestand just in parking.
Yeah.
What if you could bid on that?
Yeah,
That would be fun.
yeah, it would be good.
Yeah.
All right, here's the
I'd hold up first pitch. We're going to park as many people as we can park.
Eagles beat the Rams last week. Most memorable part of that was the snow. The Eagles are selling that, the snow from the field, $50 a pint. Philadelphia Eagles, Lincoln Financial Field, playoff field snow, 28-22. $50 is what you have to pay for that.
Stupid.
That
It
is the
snows all
dumbest
the
thing
time in
ever.
Philadelphia, and it's
Yeah.
a divisional win.
Yeah, and how do I even know?
It's got that gold seal on top.
Yeah, I trust that. Oh, yeah, this came right off the field.
By
Yeah.
the way-
So we're going to get this from the parking lot.
Sold out.
Of course it is.
Sold out. What do? Keep that in the freezer all the time? You got to keep it refrigerated or it melts. Obviously, it's snow, Jim, but it just sits in. You pull it out and hey,
Yeah, look, got snow
Yeah.
for the game.
Yeah,
I would mistake
somebody's
it-
kid needs braces, and the dude's buying snow instead.
sadly, I'd mistake it for ice cream the way it's packaged.
Yeah.
Yep. But there you go.
I don't know if I'm going to be able to. I mean, I'll end up watching the games, but man, I just have no motivation to watch these 2 games now.
So you still are not over it.
Not at all.
Does it help you knowing that Matt Stafford played that entire game with 4 broken ribs?
I'm not surprised.
No.
He's among the toughest guys in the league.
Oh, I mean, just the pounding he took
Yeah.
back in the days in Detroit.
But that hit as he ran and scrambled and he got up and he was
It was an early
in
hit
the
too.
game. Yep. His wife lets it be known on her podcast yesterday.
Do you
that it
guys?
was,
I mean,
officially 4 cracked ribs.
Yeah.
do you ever have a loss so bad? Because I remember when we were back terrestrial radio days when Alabama got walked off the field against Clemson. What year was that? That 17, 18?
Yeah, that one didn't bother me as much as I know
The pick play bothered you more, didn't it?
a little bit because
Yeah.
I thought Jalen Hurts had run him to a championship, but
Right.
really the one I was most emotional about, and I don't know if it's because of yours and my friendship. I know you question my love for the Bucs sometimes, but that playoff game in Tampa where
Oh, you guys got destroyed, and you were able to come back and tie it up.
Yeah, you guys had killed us.
And then Matt Gay walked it off after the Stafford two completions to Cooper Kupp.
And then we tie or take the lead.
You tied it
Tied it.
Yeah.
And it was a miracle we had tied it.
on the Fournette run.
And I thought at least we're going to overtime. Here, we got a chance to win it in overtime.
Yeah,
and then it was boom, boom, kick, and it was over, and that was emotional.
Maybe the most emotional I've been just because of the roller coaster that was that game. But the toughest loss, I think, is this.
Yeah.
I think this is tougher than either Super Bowl, 3 Super Bowl losses I've seen.
I would rank that my toughest Bucs loss. and 1973 Sugar Bowl, Alabama Notre Dame.
That's the one you cried? Was that the one you cried?
Yeah, that was my first.
Was
Alabama.
that the Tom Clements? No, that was later on, wasn't it?
No, that was the Tom Clements game.
But-
yeah,
okay.
that was my first Alabama
to Dave
cry.
Casper, right? Tom Clements to Dave Casper.
But back to when we were doing terrestrial radio, I remember a lot of people were like, I can't listen right now. For like a month, I had people coming across, hadn't been able to listen to this show because of Alabama's loss.
Oh, I got that on the Kick 6. Like, I had to turn your show off. These were Alabama fans, obviously. I couldn't listen.
Like, I listen to the NFL Network on Sirius XM a lot, and I have not listened to it this week. I just can't.
Yeah.
Because they're previewing these 4 teams, and it just absolutely sucks to know. I mean, you guys thought when Puka made that catch, the Rams were going to win, right?
I thought they were driving to walk it off. But what an amazing win it was going to be.
92 AFC Championship game for me. Dolphins had won the division, were the 2 seed. They went to San Diego they played San Diego and destroyed the Chargers 31-0. The 1 seed got upset, so we host Buffalo in the AFC Championship game in Miami in January. Buffalo having to come down there. It was like 80 degrees at
Hey,
kick.
Jim Kelly had played there before.
29-10, they beat us. We looked like we'd never seen a football that day. That one is painful. 92 AFC Championship game. We should have been in the Super Bowl again. I've not seen a Super Bowl. Since,
I've been thinking about
84, since what made me a Dolphins fan.
This Jaden Daniels situation. They split earlier this year with the Eagles. I think they've got every opportunity to win this game. But is this a situation where maybe Jaden Daniels moving forward is the best quarterback in the NFC, much like Dan Marino was in the AFC, but he never gets back to a Super Bowl, if he even gets to one this year?
Listen, I tell people, I get asked a lot, why are you a Dolphins fan? And I explain it to them. And one thing I always say is, as a kid, as a little 8-year-old Ryan Brown, I looked at Dan Marino going to a Super Bowl, and I'm like, this team will be in the Super Bowl all the time with this guy.
What year was that for him? His second year?
Yeah, it was his second year. First full year as a starter. As a rookie, he took over about halfway through the season.
I think he took over against the Saints.
And they knew right away.
Yeah,
this guy.
Baumhauer he tells a great story about that. Next time we get him on, we'll get him to tell the Marino story because, like all the veterans knew, Marino is the guy that needs to be started.
Spoiler alert, I'm still waiting for that next Super Bowl.
Oh, I know you are. I know you are. We'll talk about the NFL playoffs this weekend, the championship games. Jaden Daniels' place in that as well. But we're speaking of bad losses, great wins. It's awesome being a sports fan. I'm going to send out a little condolences to a guy, really a nice guy. Bill Pear was my news director when I went back into local TV at CBS 42. He's an Ohio State fan. He passed away yesterday. After getting to see, this is him, he posted on his Facebook the other night watching the game.
That's great.
Wow.
And he got to see Ohio State win another one, and then he passed away, and thoughts and prayers to his family. Just a nice guy. You'll get a kick out of this, LT. 42 was getting the Nick Saban show, and I had left local TV, NBC 13, and Brown and I were just working together in radio, and Bill Pear calls me up, says, hey, I need to meet with you about a job opportunity. So after I did the show with Brownie, I met him at the Little Professor in Homewood. And
the old Little Professor? Or
that little shack right there.
The old Little Professor right there.
Had a good sandwich.
Right
back
off the
there.
exit, yeah.
So I go walking in. I'd never met the guy. He had never met me. And I walk up to him. He reaches out his hand, and he says, I sort of like the sports guy we have now. His name was Brad Radisi. I sort of like the sports guy I have right now. But I have got a boss. Hi, I'm Bill Pear. Nice to meet you. That was his opening line to me.
But I've got a boss. I
got
I got a boss.
So my boss is Ballard. Bill Ballard's telling me I need to talk to you. But he's telling me I don't really want to hire you right here before he even says his name. And he was a tall guy, probably about 6'4".
I mean, you blew him away with your personality.
I said, I'm Jim Dunaway. This is a quote. I'm Jim Dunaway. I'm not really sure I want to get back into local TV. And his quote is, well, there's no need for us to order then. And we both laughed and walked out.
Seriously?
Yeah, we didn't even sit down and talk. We both laughed and walked out. Later that day, Bill Ballard called me.
I love it.
Bill Ballard called me on the phone and says, we really need to talk. Come up to the station, me, you, and Pear. We're going to sit down up here.
And you didn't realize Ballard was going to make you grind out miles in that Ram truck instead of getting flights.
It was a really, really good time. Ballard set it up
Do
for
you
me.
guys ever have the weird thought, like, if I'm watching, let's say the Bills get to the Super Bowl this year.
Let's don't, Lance.
Okay, but, I'm not a Josh Allen guy at all. I think he's incredible. But there will be a piece of me that will be like, man, these Bills fans, like that one Visa commercial where the dude gets his jersey bought and then it goes through the cycle and he's buying his granddaughter the jersey.
It's a great commercial.
I have empathy for these fan bases that have never won one and people that put so much time and there's so much passion. Like, the Rams just won 1-21, and I really am sick to my stomach still about this loss. But these fan bases have never tasted one, so there is a little bit of me that would like to see some of these fans be able to get it.
Then on Super Bowl Sunday, you'll sit back and say,
do you guys ever think about that stuff,
good
though?
for the Bills fans, yeah.
Because you'll hear the story, 97-year-old, Marla Higgins is, on her deathbed, and she's about to see her Braves maybe win their first championship.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And sometimes it comes down to rooting interest at that point. I'm like, okay, I don't really like either one of these teams, but I'm going to cheer for this team because of the
best storyline,
the fans.
Yeah.
Because of the fans.
Can't do it with the Bills, guys.
Quick break here. We'll come back, part 2 of our number 1 on the show. That's brought to you always by our friends at Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. This is The Next Round.
Follow The Next Round on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Next Round Live.
It's the O'Reilly Auto Parts World of Wheels, January 31st through February 2nd at the BJCC with customs, classics, hot rods, and more. Check out the exotic lineup in the Supercar South Hall, sponsored by Mob Inc. And don't miss the BMX stunt team performing outrageous stunts live. Friday only, meet All Elite wrestler Christian Cage. Saturday, it's Bill Carlton from Texas Metal. And Sunday, meet Oscar from The Office. Bring the kids for free Hot Wheels racing, costume characters, rides, and more. Get discount tickets at all O'Reilly Auto Parts stores. Details at worldofwheels.net.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service. Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
You could win a Cadillac CT5 or your share of $25,000 in free play and cash at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. The more you visit, the more chances you have to win. Play the latest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. You can be a winner too. Come win your share during the Cadillac CT5 and $25,000 giveaway at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Drawings April 5th and 6th. Located off I-459, exit 31, Derby Parkway. Must be 21 or older, must be present to win.
It's time to pull the trigger on the Next Round merch that you've been eyeing. We know there's a lot to choose from at nextround.store, so here's a few of our favorite picks. If you want to match LT and Brown, go with the TNR logo hoodie and throw in one of Dunaway's favorite hats. Any of them will do. The Backroom's go-to is the classic logo t-shirt, while my personal favorite is the light blue TNR crew neck. All of these items can be found at nextround.store and are EG approved. Rest assured, your order will be packed with lots of love from us here at the Next Round. Head over to nextround.store to start filling up your cart.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com, the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com. That's nextroundlive.com.
Think about the best summer nights of your life. How many of those were in a great t-shirt? Visit nextround.store to get the perfect t-shirt for the next perfect southern night. Nextround.store. The memories are waiting.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about my friends at Michelson Laser Vision, located conveniently UAB Highlands. Almost 20 years ago, I went in for the procedure. Only took 12 minutes for both eyes. When I went in, I had 20/200 vision. I was legally blind. Now I have 20/15 vision, still 19 years later. Make the call today. Schedule a hassle-free consultation. 969-8100. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, Michelson Laser Vision. Make sure you tell them the Next Round sent you. 969-8100 or MichelsonLaserVision.com.
As we all know, there's no off-season when it comes to college football. If you want to stay in the know with all things Alabama, join us over on covercrimson.com and get $25 off your annual subscription. We'll keep you up to date and give you exclusive content all the way to the first Saturday of football season on covercrimson.com. Do you need some refreshed college wear to represent your team this year? Shop Roback's Game Day collection that includes both Alabama and Auburn. From quarter zips to hoodies, Roback has it all. Get 20% off on us using code TNR20 at roback.com.
By the way, new Bama and Bourbon is out. LT and Aaron Suttles dropped yesterday. You can go enjoy that. We'll talk a little bit about what was on Bama and Bourbon yesterday in college football. Right after LT tells us about our friends at Michelson Laser Vision.
Yeah, a phone call that I made almost 22 years ago. I wore the contacts for about a decade. Absolutely hated dealing with those things. I'd sleep in them a lot, which they say is absolutely awful for the eye. Finally went in to see Dr. Mark Michelson back when he was at the Summit Shopping Centers, got the procedure done. Only took 12 minutes for both eyes. 2015 vision, better than 2020. Make the phone call that I made more than 2 decades ago, 205-969-8100. Ask for Amy. Tell her the Next Round sent you. They will hook you up with that hassle-free consultation. You have absolutely nothing to lose to find out if LASIK is right for you. 205-969-8100 or michelsonlaservision.com.
Okay, from Bama and Bourbon yesterday, this discussion about the college football postseason. Listen in.
College football's got to do something with this postseason. The regular season ended between the regular season ending and the national championship game. You want to guess how many days that was?
A lot, because it was basically Thanksgiving.
51.
Yeah, that's a problem.
The first week 0, as they're calling it now, was August 24th.
Yep.
Move it up a week. And I think eventually, I know that, look, there's too much money to be made with the conference championship games, so they're probably not going away, but you got to find a way to start them earlier. I mean,
we don't need any buys. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
It's 86 the buys.
And if the NFL, look, and I hesitate to compare the NFL to college because those are grown men who are professional, but these college guys are pretty grown too. I don't think you need 10 days off between games either. The NFL can get it done in a week, Look, I think the longer you go, you just had those great divisional rounds from the NFL playoff game. You're like, you forgot about the national championship. No one's talking about it. There's no buzz for it. You got to carve out your own space. And I think one of the big things that I yell for, it's never going to happen because I understand how much money's involved with the TVs. You got to own Saturdays. Saturday is your day.
Okay, so the ratings were down 12%, still a good number from Monday night's championship
So
games.
22 million viewers, and to put that in perspective, the Kansas City-Houston game on ESPN over the weekend in the divisional round had 33 million viewers, which is the most watched thing in ESPN history. Okay, so basically in the same weekend, ESPN had the most watched thing they've ever had at 33 million viewers and 22 million viewers for the national championship game. And you can do the math and see what the difference there is between a high-end NFL game and the highest end of college football games. A lot of people look at that 22 million and say and this is not false. It is one of the lowest rated national championship games we've had in the playoff era.
I think the 4th lowest rated of all time.
I think only non-COVID in the playoff era, I think it's only Georgia and TCU that was worse, and that was a bloodbath. So it's understandably worse.
And we we alluded to that game.
Right. So that's the negative, right? If you want to take the negative on that is the negative. That's lower than people expected at 22 million. The positive is it is the most watched non-NFL sporting event of the year, of the last 365 days. The most watched non-NFL sporting event, which to me tells you college football is solidified as the number 2 sport in America right now. NFL is easily number 1 and nobody's close. College football is number 2. I mean, it has surpassed Major League Baseball and the NBA and NASCAR and anything else that's out there.
It's been that way for a few years, but it continues to get a foothold.
But that number tells you it's got that foothold as the number 2 sport in America.
That's the good news.
That is the good news.
But what doesn't make any sense is how big the gap is. Like, college football has been around longer than the NFL.
Yeah.
Like, how you don't close that gap a little bit, because it used to be fantasy football and gambling. Well, you play fantasy football. Like, I enjoy the fantasy football more, I don't know if you do, on the Saturday with DraftKings, just playing the player lineups than I do on Sundays.
I don't, because I pay very little attention to non-Power 5s. And I feel like when I lose, I am losing because somebody is really smart at picking up the receiver from UTSA or a quarterback from Western Kentucky.
I'm just saying that you have these options now. Like with mybookie.ag, you've got player props. You can play first half. You can play team totals. You've got all this stuff that you can gamble on. You do have fantasy. Like, I just don't understand why the numbers aren't a little closer.
New York, Chicago, and all the big California markets.
Yep. It's big market, small market. NFL's a big market product. College football's a small market product.
But you know what's weird is, like, what do these people do on Saturday?
I don't know. I don't know. That's what I don't know.
Spend time with their family or something.
No, it's a big market, small market issue. I mean, as big as college football is here, Birmingham is the number one market in America for college football. We live in the biggest market that there is.
But the good news is, for college football, is that it continues to become more popular in New York, in Chicago, and in the big cities in California.
It does, but when you put out, and they don't do this anymore because, and you can explain this, Jim, for some reason TV ratings have changed. Like they used to have the ratings for Birmingham the next day. Now it's 2 days later.
Yeah.
And so they used to put out these rankings like, okay.
It's because of streaming numbers.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, but some are the next day. Some they have available the next day. Some they have to wait for.
Overnight partials, basically. The total number is they have to factor in streaming numbers.
So they used to put out a top 10. So they would say Ohio State beat Notre Dame, X to Y. Here's the top 10 markets. And ESPN will put it out. And in a game like that, your number one market was going to be Columbus, Ohio. Your number two market was going to be Birmingham, Alabama. Your number three market was probably going to be Greenville, South Carolina. And that just shows you right there. The Commanders and the Eagles will play in the NFC Championship game. Your number one market's going to be Philadelphia. Your number two market's going to be Washington, D.C. Probably your number three market
is New York City.
Yep. I mean, you can't compete right there. That is no competition whatsoever.
And just keep in mind, population of Alabama is pairs to just New York City.
Yeah. I mean,
the whole state to just the city.
It's a big market, small market thing, but NBA is a big market product too. Like all those same big markets that have NFL teams have NBA teams. Major League Baseball is a big market product too. All those same markets have Major League Baseball teams. And college football has pulled ahead of both of those and is distancing themselves from them unless they mess it up with the college football playoff.
Yeah, and that becomes the problem. And we discussed this briefly a little bit yesterday, LT, is you've got to do something about, as you guys were talking about in Bama and Bourbon, about the schedule and how it lays out. How do you adjust it? Do you start it earlier in the summer and end it sooner?
You do. Suttles brought this up, and it wasn't part of that clip, but you bring it up to week 0. And I think everybody plays on week 0. And then backside on what I said, I don't know how you guys feel. You've obviously got to have more teams because they're not going to go backwards, but I don't think we have any buys.
16 teams, no buys.
Yeah.
So bringing it up on week 0, what we mentioned yesterday takes rivalry weekend off of Thanksgiving weekend if anybody cares about that.
And honestly, I think we need to get rid of the championship games. And I think with Notre Dame playing for national championship, they're never going to a conference. Well, if we get rid of the buys, like I think everybody needs to be on the same footing, which, if you do go to 16, can't you make up some of the shortfall on the conference championships?
I think an expanded playoff could cover the nut for the ACC and the Big 12 to easily say, yeah, we'll punt our championship game, no problem. Could it for the Big 10 and the SEC? I do not know.
But see, I'm more interested.
But can I finish that thought real quick? Part of the problem with the conference championship games right now is that's part of the Big Ten's deal with Fox, NBC, and CBS. They're not willing to come off of that and have no part of the college football playoff either.
Yeah, and the SEC championship game is part of the ABC ESPN contract, and it still probably was the fourth most watched, including the playoffs, probably the fourth most watched football game this year.
You got a better shot of them agreeing to it because they can make the money off an expanded playoff. Fox, NBC, and CBS, an expanded playoff does them no good.
At least right now. Yes.
At least right now, unless they've got a cut of it.
Well, they're going to call this a one-off. I would have thought with the Notre Dame and Ohio State brands, I understand it got to a 31-7 game, but when they came back around, you would think that people would come back around. If the numbers continue to dip, you've got to do something. This has damaged the college football brand. Would you guys agree?
It was the best regular season I can remember. Brown and I talked about that for a while.
And it was maybe the worst postseason, though.
It did seem like it let us down a little bit in the postseason.
It wasn't what I wanted it to be. I'm not going to deny that.
The buzz leading up to that massive marquee game with two big brands just wasn't the same.
I told Brown on the way to trivia last night, 3 guys that I know well that are huge college football fans didn't even watch the game on Monday.
Yeah.
Which is weird, but...
So I think you've got to figure out what would make the ending the best it could be and work backwards from there, don't you? You got to say, where is the best place for us to play the college football playoff and the championship game?
Well, that's on a Thursday because you don't want to follow all of this incredible. I mean, Sunday's NFL action, those two games were great.
And you're reacting to it all day Monday.
Yeah.
So you think if they had played it the Thursday before divisional round weekend,
or Thursday, even not this Monday night, just delayed it until the Thursday night, until tonight.
It's a standalone. Like right now, you see on Get Up, and they're talking about the Bills and Chiefs. On Monday morning, all they were talking about was Ravens, Bills,
there's no doubt,
and Rams, Eagles.
Yeah,
and then they circle back to the Saturday games.
Monday night's a good place for ESPN to have it because if you're ESPN, what else am I going to put there that's going to get 22 million viewers?
But same way on Thursday night. Do you not think tonight would be 22.1 million if we were playing it tonight?
I wouldn't think it'd be any less.
Yeah.
I think it would actually be more.
But would people complain then about, well, my God, we made these teams wait? I mean, when was the game they played before that? What date was that?
It was just 9 days.
So they waited 9 days to play the national championship game.
Which is not that bad.
So we're basically asking them to wait 11 now?
Yeah.
I would have no problem with that.
And you think Jeremiah Love would have loved a little extra rest?
Oh, he would have, yeah. I don't think anybody would complain about that. So you guys think if you played it tonight, that's the best place to play it, is the Thursday before?
Well, I mean, if you could get it to, I don't know if you could have got it last Thursday.
So you would say either the Thursday before.
It would have been too short of a rest.
Yeah, I got a short rest on that.
That would have been a short week for the Friday night.
Yeah, but if you, and again, I don't know how this would lay out. If you start week 0, and again, I don't know if
I would move it 2 weeks back. I would move it deeper into the summer. We'd be starting with we'd to play 2 Saturdays in August.
So Walker actually.
Can you imagine how damn hot those games would be?
Are they not already hot?
Well, they're hot already.
They're hot. They're hot. But that's 3 or 4 weeks of just brutal.
Walker actually has a different idea in the mybookie.ag chat room. What if you moved it deeper and played it Pro Bowl weekend?
No.
Why? Why do you say no that quick?
I think it's expanded way too. Like, I think we get used to a schedule in college football.
We do. We're going to have to get used to this one. You wouldn't, like Pro Bowl weekend, we don't really have anything.
No, we don't.
Wouldn't you think
Great
a Saturday
basketball, that's it.
Saturday night and Pro Bowl weekend would kill?
I don't know. I heard Jim Nagy, our buddy from the Senior Bowl, and he was talking about the Ohio State guys. There was 2 that were supposed to play in the game, and they called him up and they're like, we just can't. We've played 4 postseason games. We've been playing football like this long, and we're just not going to be able to participate.
And we've got to get ready. We got to rest up, get healthy for the combine.
Yeah, I mean, this thing is just going so deep. And look, and as consumers, I say we don't care, but obviously we do because it's reflective on the numbers.
I will say this, though. One thing you guys got to remember is the NFL apparently is screaming towards 18 games now. So you're about to have one more week of NFL, which is going to push all of this another week deeper.
Yeah, which will push us Super Bowl Sunday before the President's Day on Monday.
Right,
national holiday.
Yeah, which is what Lance has always wanted. But what that also creates, though, that I guess I don't know how the college football will deal with this. If they keep the same plan on a wild card weekend, that's a Monday night football game NFL-wise on that Monday night where you would normally play the college game.
Yep.
So my point is, if they go to 18 games in the NFL, the college football playoff, if they want to keep the game on Monday night, they're going to have to figure out how to do it.
Yeah,
because that's going to be taken up by an NFL game.
I think they would prefer to have it on a Saturday night, but it just hasn't worked out with the NFL season the way it works. I say move it back. Try to end it closer to January 1 as you can. However that can work out. But the holidays, tradition, we named them all yesterday.
Well, I would say this.
Problem.
If you move it back to week 0 and the NFL moves forward with 18 games, and I don't know why he would do this, he says he would work with them. If Roger Goodell would come off that Saturday night of what would now be week 19, come off that one Saturday night game, leave that open for the college game. That's the perfect place for it.
Play 2-day NFL games.
2-day NFL games, and then at night, your college football national championship game.
Yep.
Now,
that'd be a big give by the NFL.
It would be. You'd have to commit. I don't know why he would do that, but if he did.
There is a way to work this better.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. 100%. We'll see what happens in the future. As we said yesterday, but we have a date for it now. The ADs and commissioners of the Big Ten and the SEC are getting together February 19th in New Orleans without everyone else in college athletics, just the Big Ten and the SEC, and they're going to get down and figure out how they want the college football playoffs to look moving forward. So all the decisions of the future will start to happen there with the SEC and the Big Ten in the room. When we come back, we'll ask this question: SEC or the field when it comes to the NCAA basketball tournament, and a lot more college football, including a couple of our friends of the show's way too early top 25s. But as we go to break here, Brown, tell us about A+, and then they got a little piece of video. You never know who you're going to bump into at a Buc-ee's in Leeds after you tell us about A+.
That is a factual statement there, Jimmy D. A+, kitchen, A+ bathandkitchen.com, excuse me, A+ bathandkitchen.com is the company I'm talking about, and that's the website you're going to want to make sure you make note of. When it comes time to update that master bath, that kitchen, or that master bedroom closet, that's what Brad Bell specializes with. Now, he'll do anything in your house there, but his specialty really is master bath, kitchen, and master bedroom closets. That's good news for you. You use those rooms or that closet a lot, so you want it to be as functional and as nice as it can be. But also when you go to sell your house, those things really pop and help you get money back for your house. If it's time to do one of those, I've used them. When it came time to do the master bath, my wife scoured the internet looking for the right person for the job. She picked Brad Bell, A+ Bath and Kitchen, and I'm glad she did. Here's Brad's number, 205-422-1758. That's 205-422-1758, or online, aplusbathandkitchen.com. That is aplusbathandkitchen.com.
All right, Scott Forrester, every day as he drives into work, passes by the Buc-ee's in Leeds, so he's very familiar with the ins and outs of the Buc-ee's, and he alerted me last night was a special night at the Buc-ee's in Leeds. What happened, Forrester? Tell me what you saw.
Pop-up concert? Didn't we have one of those at the Athens one?
Yeah, we did. That was,
Keith Urban played the parking lot.
So random.
But check this out.
Apparently, I guess the Detroit Pistons were playing the Hawks in Atlanta yesterday.
Okay.
And I guess over at Hartsfield, they had some trouble getting into the airport. So they got diverted to Birmingham and had to drive over.
Oh, wow.
So they had to fly into Birmingham.
The Pistons team
Detroit Pistons.
The Detroit Pistons of the NBA.
So, of course, if you're a Detroit Piston and you're driving from Birmingham to Atlanta, what do you have to do?
You stop into Buc-ee's.
You got to stop at Buc-ee's. Look at this.
That's incredible. So the whole Pistons team is in there, Scott?
Yep. Just picking up some snacks.
That's
T-shirts,
hilarious.
Brisket.
Hey, that brisket sandwich is legit.
It really is.
That's a good sandwich.
I couldn't name a Piston.
I really couldn't either. I was going to ask you, who is the star of the Pistons right now?
Cade Cunningham.
Okay. Would not recognize him at a Buc-ee's. I'm sure he would stand out.
That's the only guy in this video that I recognized at all was Cunningham.
Yeah. That's pretty funny. Looks like they embraced it, too. Look at them. They're loading up.
The sandwiches and the Buc-ee's T-shirts and stuff. That's insanity.
Hope they got some beaver nuggets.
Oh, those beaver nuggets are good, Scott.
Hey, I did hear, and our buddy Jacob Hester, who we had on the show last Thursday or Friday, was stuck at Hartsville, the airport for days.
Yeah, it must have been awful because after the national championship game, Dusty Dvorak was supposed to be on the show yesterday, and he texted me yesterday morning. He's like, I hate to do this to you. I've been in the Atlanta airport for 16 hours and cannot get out. And I think I've got a chance, so I'm going to have to not do the show. I mean, it must have been a disaster after the national championship game.
I remember us flying out of Indianapolis, not flying out. We were driving back from Indianapolis.
It was 6 degrees when we got in the car.
Yeah.
But friends who had private jets, they made it to the Indianapolis private jet terminal, and it was a logjam that nobody could get their PJs out because
there were
planes ready
physical
to
altercations.
Refuel to take off and in line to take off. It took hours for them to even till the next morning to take off. We actually beat some of them home.
Well, yeah, we did. Some of the private jets we beat home. Did you see what happened at SMU Penn State? We were off then because it was right around Christmas. There were so many SMU private jets flying in for that game. The private airport in State College got full. So they couldn't land in any more PJs, so they had to divert them 30 minutes away. And somebody chartered a bus. I don't know how they got this in advance, but chartered a bus, and they all missed the first quarter. All the private jet SMU money missed the first quarter. By the way, by the time you got to the stadium, game was over.
Yeah, that sucks.
That was the quarter you did not want to miss.
All right, so when we come back, we'll jump more into college football and these NFL games as we're working here 212 days until the start of the next college football season. This is the next round.
Follow LT on Twitter @TheLanceTaylor.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service.
Things fall apart. There's even a book about it, but that doesn't mean you have to break the bank to fix them. Ryan Brown here for the next round. Our friends at Mortgage Right have a new renovation option that will make repairs and other home improvements easy. If you've recently purchased a home and find yourself short on cash, or you're looking to buy a fixer-upper, Mortgage Right's renovation loan program can help you spruce up your space. Repairs can be made to your roof, plumbing, flooring, and more with the help of top-notch mortgage professionals. So get your fix by visiting mortgageright.com/TNR. NMLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender. Looking for a great place for that boring meeting? Leave the office and go to the Golfus. What about corporate events like board meetings, sales meetings, customer appreciation events? How about the Golfus? Watch parties for football and basketball, parties for birthdays or couple showers. The Golfus is a great place for those. The Golfus has Birmingham's best golf simulators and man caves in Vestavia on Highway 31, opening soon in Trussville and on Highway 280. Bring whatever you want to eat or drink, even bring your own clubs. Get out of the office. Go to the Golfus. Book your spot now at thegolfus.com.
Just because you've quit going to the gym, it doesn't mean that you have to quit gym altogether. Dunaway, that is. With our Next Round podcasts open 24/7, 365, you can access gym anytime you'd like. While you may have done away with your treadmill routine, our version of Dunaway is standing by ready to get you back to your absolute best. Find all that lovely Jimmy D-led content on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and in the podcast section of nextroundlive.com. This message is sponsored by Jimmy Crypto Inc. and Jimmy Crypto for President.
By now, you guys know how I feel about my fashion. However, did you know that I care about your fashion choices? Cargo shorts are out, flip-flops are only appropriate on the boat, and please throw away that stained t-shirt from college. You may be thinking, EG, that's all I own. What do I do? Here's what you do. Go to nextround.store and fill your cart with a wardrobe that is approved by me. Stock up on logo t-shirts, hoodies for football season, and hats for every day of the week. Trust me on this one and head over to nextround.store to get stocked up for this season.
From the creators of The Next Round comes 2 new sites, covercrimson.com and thebarnauburn.com. 2 team sites with the same excitement and information-driven content that you get every day on The Next Round. Live daily shows, recorded shows, free of charge, plus premium content with insider information starting at just $1. And it's the perfect gift for the Alabama or Auburn fan in your family. Covercrimson.com or thebarnauburn.com. Sign up today.
Happy football season. At the Next Round, we strive to make our loyal listeners feel like they're a part of the action all season long. My name is Emily Grace McWhorter, and I do that by bringing you along for any given Saturday in Auburn or Tuscaloosa. From pregame warm-ups, touchdowns that make you feel a part of the play, and everything in between, our goal is to make you feel like you're inside Bryant Denny or Jordan Hare. Follow along on our social media at Next Round Live on Instagram, X, and Facebook. Also, check out thebarnauburn.com and covercrimson.com while you're at it. Here's to fall Saturdays. Since you listened to my last message so well and got rid of those cargo shorts and stained t-shirts, it's time to replace them with Rhoback. Go to Rhoback.com and click on the refreshed collection to find all that you need for an EG-approved wardrobe. It includes pieces that will have you ready to hit the golf course after a busy day of meetings or comfy favorites for travel and working from home. Get 20% off using code TNR20. See, I'm saving you some money.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, The Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Back with you on The Next Round as we continue on hour number 2 now as we get rolling with LTD&B. We're about to do our spotlight, which is going to be a couple of more of our friends way too early top 25s. It's brought to you by McCurry. Tyler, if you'll hit the spotlight, my friend. Nope, we'll pause a little bit in a second here. Coming up, our spotlight right here, the way too early top 25s. And they will come from our buddy Joel Klatt. And come from our buddy Andy Staples. It'll be interesting to get them. coming up right here. Tell us about McCurry.
McCurry Van and Car Rental, the local rental company you can depend on. Trucks, SUVs, passenger vans, easy in, easy out. Athens, Muscle Shoals, Huntsville, 2nd Avenue Northwest in Coleman, Skyland Boulevard in Tuscaloosa. Reserve your rental today, 256-559-1003 or McCurryRentals.com.
Let's start off with the Joe Klatt one is the most recent one out. Andy did his a couple of days ago. Klatt had his out yesterday. And an interesting top 10 from him. You will not see the name Alabama in Klatt's way too early top 10. He is buying into Drew Aller in Penn State. Another Amari Evans, another receiver. We told you about the one kid going to Ole Miss. The other one signed with Washington, so they're going to have to rebuild that wide receiver room. He goes Penn State, Texas, Ohio State, Georgia, Oregon. Notre Dame not following off. Clemson, sneaky Miami, LSU, and Michigan. Miami and LSU are the two I want to focus on, LT, because of their quarterback room. Carson Beck at Miami is putting Miami in some high seeding in these way too earlys.
Look, I know it's easy to take shots at Carson that he wasn't the quarterback we thought he was going to be this year, but Georgia led the SEC in drop passes. And there wasn't great skill around Carson Beck. I think Carson Beck's going to be really good. The problem is he's not as good as Cam Ward. Like, that would blow me away if he ends up being as good as Cam Ward.
Now the betting favored to be the first quarterback off the board in the NFL draft in Cam Ward.
So I do think that you take a step backwards, but I still think Carson Beck is a really, really good quarterback.
Good enough, Brownie, to have them contending for a national championship if you look at Joel Klatt.
Quarterback's not my issue with Miami winning a national championship or maybe even being number 8 in the country. They don't have the head coach to pull that off. I am stunned at how much offseason love Miami is getting.
Yes.
I mean, we saw them as high as number 3, I think, the other day, and Dennis Dodd, I think maybe he had them number 3.
Quarterback-driven sport, and they've got a proven one in Carson Beck.
I think
he's mentally still there.
He's proven what?
I would think a lot of people, I mean, Miami had a really good year this year. I mean, they won some games they probably shouldn't have. They won 10 games. They ended up being a top 20 team. But I think people look around the ACC and who's going to be that team. Like, SMU's not going to be as good as they were.
You wouldn't think.
I think with Klubnik coming back, I think Clemson could end up being that team. We'll see how good this defense is with Tom Allen. But, I mean, I would take a flyer on Clemson or Miami.
Yeah, if you show me Klatt again, there, Forster, you've got Clemson is in there and Miami both at 7 and 8. You got 3 SEC teams in there. Got a lot of love for the Big Ten as well, 4 Big Tens, and Notre Dame. No Big 12 team in there. That from our buddy Joel Klatt. We'll flip around to Andy Staples now. He and Ari Wasserman, who work for On3 Sports, and they do a podcast together. Andy drops his way too early top 25. We all love Andy Staples and his knowledge when it comes to college football. He is buying into the Arch Manning Texas Longhorn love at number 1.
Okay, again, I've got to see Sark win one of these big games. And if Arch was this good, and maybe he will end up being the best quarterback we've ever seen in college football. But I'm just not buying Texas number 1. They got the talent, no doubt.
Notre Dame is there on the top line. The one I wanted to bring up with Andy Staples, it has been a long, long time, I think, even in preseason projections, that you've seen that logo in the 11 spot and that logo in the 14 spot where the one in the 11 spot is higher than the one in the 14 spot. And if you're listening to us, Andy has Auburn 11 and Alabama 14. How far back do you have to go where Auburn finished the season ahead of Alabama?
2010?
Is that it?
13. Yeah, 13. But even before I saw Auburn, I'm just looking at the second line. Illinois, a team that we've talked about with all the returning starters under Brett Bielema.
Sexy offseason pick.
Lenora Sellers and South Carolina, based on what they did, another sexy pick. His alma mater, the Florida Gators.
Way up there.
Another sexy pick. You know, here's the thing. So you've got in the SEC, Texas, Georgia, South Carolina, Florida, Auburn, Tennessee. You are right there, the 7th. Yeah, I mean, basically right there with LSU. If you're LSU or Alabama, if you have 6 teams finished in front of you in conference, it's unacceptable.
I mean, LSU, it might lead to a coaching change. At Alabama, it would lead to a coach on a very hot seat.
Okay, you're euphoric if you're South Carolina, Florida, or Auburn.
That's right. Napier gets an extension out of this.
But I think the only fan bases in the SEC that would be excited are obviously Texas, South Carolina, Florida, and Auburn. I think Tennessee fans are pissed. Alabama fans are disgusted. LSU fans have fired Brian Kelly.
I saw on this, Andy had a video out on TikTok, and he said the team that I have been most asked about in my ranking. He goes, I've had people like stop me out. He goes, I had another member of the media stop me in the press box in Atlanta and say, what am I missing with the Auburn Tigers? You've got them number 11. He said, that's the most asked. He said, even Auburn fans have reached out to me on social media. It's like, why do you have us number 11? Tell us why you think we're number 11.
Tell me why I should be excited.
Yes, yeah, give me the good news. So Andy said of everything he did, the thing he's been most asked about is Auburn at number 11.
And we know Andy. He doesn't do, I mean, we're all in the click and view business, but he doesn't do something like that for clicks and views. He truly believes it.
No, you
and
do
backs up his number 11
right.
for a reason.
You do the poll for clicks and views.
Right.
Obviously, that's how we make our living. But I don't think Andy goes in there and is like, ooh, I'm going to get more clicks if I've got Texas number 1.
Yeah, or Auburn
number
11.
11. Yeah. No. I think, I think that's what he believes. He believes Auburn is going to be number 11, and he explains why in that video. If you want to go watch the video, Andy explains his thinking behind it.
Yeah, it's a interesting there. I just was blown away when I saw, and I didn't get to do it yesterday, there's the Auburn logo preseason ahead of the Alabama logo, another changing times in that rivalry. Used to be almost after every Iron Bowl, Paul Feinbaum would write, the scales of the state has shifted to Auburn or to Tuscaloosa after every Iron Bowl outcome. It was always a great Sunday column from Feinbaum. This could be a changing time if Andy Staples is right on Auburn and Alabama for this upcoming college football season. That's our McCurry Spotlight today. Those way too early from our buddy Klatt and Staples.
McCurryRentals.com. That is McCurryRentals.com.
All right. So let's talk about the NFL playoffs coming up this weekend. There are two stats, LT, that sort of project the outcome. Let's start first in the Buffalo and Kansas City game because this is a storyline coming out of the Texans' win for the Chiefs, and it is a storyline going into this game, Buffalo and Kansas City. I'm sure every table-busting Buffalo Bill Mafia guy knows this stat already. For 11 straight playoff games, Kansas City has had less penalties called on them than their opponents.
Whoa, wait a minute, Jim.
Now
read that again and make sure you got that right.
Doesn't mean anything is anything weird going on, but for 11 straight playoff games, Kansas City has had fewer penalties called on them than their opponents.
Yeah, I'm not surprised by this one bit.
I've got these numbers.
Do you
have all these numbers?
Like, if you'd given me what number, I don't know that I could have told you 11. But when you tell me 11, it does not surprise me.
I just have that bullet point that it was 11 straight. I didn't get into the weeds on how many more than the Texans. Obviously,
okay, so Warren Sharp is the guy that sent this out.
Okay.
He said, saw a crazy stat yesterday on ESPN that I could not believe. The last 4 years, over the Chiefs' 11 playoff games, 0 games the Chiefs had more penalties. 10 games, opponents had more penalties.
So one game they were the same.
In their pursuit of being the first team ever to win 3 straight championships, they've played 11 playoff games since 2021. In those, opponents 0 have had more penalties. In those 11 games, how many times the Chief opponents have had more penalties? 10.
Yep, and one of them, they were the same number.
Out of 68 regular season games during the sample since 2021, 27 games the Chiefs had less penalty yards, 38 games Chiefs actually had more penalty yards.
So they get
in the regular season.
In the regular season.
So it changes considerably in the postseason.
Yeah.
Now, some of that can just be the Chiefs are playing better football. I mean, it doesn't mean something has to be, something stinks, that the refs are protecting them or anything.
I don't believe that. Not in the NFL. I would believe you in college, Jim. But in the NFL, as good as the players are in the NFL, I just don't believe, they're just playing better football. That's just not believable.
Okay, in those 11 games, there have been 7 roughing the passers called on Pat Mahomes. Only 1 has been called on the Chiefs.
Yeah.
0 unsportsmanlike called on the Chiefs. Multiple unsportsmanlike called on the opponents. Our man Alex from Odie's, I don't know if you heard this last night. He came up to me. He was like, I just could not stand Travis Kelce, but now after Pat Mahomes is flopping, like he's so good, why does he flop?
I know.
And that's what infuriates people, but they do get the calls. I mean, I don't think there's any doubt about it.
So So that's part of the Buffalo backdrop as they go play at Kansas City this weekend. I've got some turnover numbers that is positive for all 4 teams remaining after you finish this.
Yeah,
off.
just real quick on the penalties. The one thing I would like to see, because the vast majority of these Kansas City games have been at home. Like of those 11, I would guess probably 9 or 10 are at home. What do you think of their last 11 playoff games? I mean, they very rarely play a road playoff game.
I don't think they've played a road playoff game, have they?
But maybe that includes the Super Bowl, whether it's a neutral site. I don't know. But either way, I would like to see the breakdown in the regular season of home team versus road team penalties. It's big in basketball. You know that in basketball,
That's right. You expect it. It's built in.
Yeah, but I just wonder how big it is in the NFL, road team versus home team. So that would be the only other thing I would want to look at there. But now to turnovers.
The turnovers, if you win the turnover battle, the last 23 NFL playoff games, the team that wins the turnover battle is 22-1. 22-1. All 4 of these teams that are still left right now have 0 turnovers in this playoffs. So the Eagles didn't turn it over against the Rams.
Nope, sure didn't.
So all 4 teams that are left, 0 turnovers this postseason.
Yeah, there we go, Redskins.
Yep.
Commanders +5 against Detroit. The Eagles +2. I think the Chiefs and the Texans, neither one turned it over. And the Bills, the Bills didn't turn it over.
Yep. Both in the Washington and Philadelphia game, both those teams are +6 in turnover margin in this playoffs. That's only happened to get to a +6 in the playoffs, only happened 2 other times in the Super Bowl era, and both of these teams have done it. But 1998 Denver and 2004 Patriots, both of those teams went on to the Super Bowl. So the Commanders and Eagles are playing such clean football right now that they're at a historic level, +6 in turnovers, that matches 98 Broncos, 2004 Patriots.
It really is the easiest path to victory, and it's such an easy stat. But if you win the turnover battle in the NFL, you win the game.
Yeah, a lot of times
22-1 the last 23 playoff games. The turnover battle winner has won. The only one was Kansas City, who only had 1 turnover against Buffalo, and they still won the game.
The strange thing is, last weekend the yardage leader lost all 4 games. That is pretty odd.
Yeah, because they lost the turnover battle.
I guess that would be the thing, right? Is the turnover battle is what beat them.
But here's the hope that Kansas City doesn't win this weekend. The Bills played the entire football season with 8 turnovers, 8 regular season turnovers from the Buffalo Bills.
Impossible.
The record's back to 1960 in the NFL. That is the best since 1960, and that's as far back as 1960. They played the year with 8 turnovers.
I would guess, and I could be wrong, that there were probably multiple college football teams that had 8 in a game.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
That's a single game.
But, I mean, again, we're talking about a Detroit Lions team that won 15 games of the regular season. They just had 5 in a playoff game at home.
That's right.
I will find this. I will fact check it, but I guarantee you that there was at least a team that had 8 turnovers.
So are you saying you think that leads to
the Bills protect the football at a historic rate this year? Josh Allen's not turning it over.
Yes. So what you've got,
the Bills, you'll have to break the trend here.
Yeah.
If the Bills, if they don't, they got to turn it over, or they've got to break the stats by not turning it over and still losing the game this week.
Yeah, it's going to be tough when you've got the officials. It will be all over Kansas City's dick, so to speak, this weekend. And then on the other side, Buffalo not turning the football over. Like, something's got to give. If Buffalo doesn't turn it over, but Kansas City's getting all the calls.
Kansas City doesn't have any penalties, and Buffalo has no turnovers. Who wins the game?
Right.
Yeah. Fascinating NFL championship weekend coming up, 2 o'clock on Fox for the NFC, 5:30 CBS for the AFC.
I will say, did Baltimore end up with 3 turnovers in that game? Jackson turned it over twice, right? And then,
it was 3.
Mark Andrews fumbled.
Yep.
So -3.
That's 3 turnovers, and Ravens still ball in hand with a chance to send that game to overtime.
Yeah. I mean, the Rams turned it over how many times?
2.
Yeah, and ball in hand driving.
I know. I mean, that just it backs up your stat there and what Lance said. It sounds so easy, but if you win the turnover battle in the NFL, most of the time you're winning the game.
What do you think the record for, because I'll get to this, the record for most turnovers by a winning team in a college football game was?
A winning team?
Yeah.
I mean, crap, this year.
And they won by 19. It was a Big Ten matchup.
Well, how many is it?
So it was 1943. Purdue beat Illinois. They had 11 turnovers and won 40-21.
Shut up.
40-21 with 11 turnovers. Different game back then.
Yeah, it really was. Staying with the NFL after you guys tell us about Odie's and trivia last night, what was the question?
The question last night was, what came first, Caitlin Clark or YouTube?
Now, I gave you Caitlin Clark's age yesterday.
23. I actually
23.
guessed
You
it
remember
right.
that one? Yes, Jim did guess that right. Actually.
Very good.
23.
So 23 takes me back to 2002.
If you remember, and I'd forgotten this, Lance reminded me, if you remember why YouTube was originated, it will help you a little bit.
It was made to be a search engine for one video.
One video.
Yep, it was the Justin Timberlake.
That is
video.
Very
correct.
good. Dunaway on a roll today.
Which feels like that was...
You should remember the Super Bowl well, Jim.
It should be 2002 as well. January of 2002, the Buccaneers. No, 2003, January 2003. So I'm going to say Caitlin Clark, 1 year older than YouTube.
Well, it wasn't the Bucs.
Was it?
No.
Oh.
It was because I was at the game. It was in Houston.
That's right.
And it was...
We were together.
We were together.
When you
should remember.
It was Carolina, New England.
It was. You threw me when you said you should remember, Jim, so I went back to a Bucs Super Bowl.
We were in Buffalo Wild Wings watching it, and it was on the biggest screen it could be on in a TV.
2005.
2005.
So Caitlin Clark, 2002. YouTube 2005. Little factoids you learn when you come out to Odie's Team Trivia every Wednesday night. But just a great place to go. I had grilled cheese and chili this past Saturday at the original location in Crestline, newest location in Edgewood. From the great sandwiches, delicious burgers, ice cold beer buckets full of the Bud Light. Birmingham Institution, get in and see Will Haver. 2 locations, the original Crestline, newest location, Edgewood.
We told you that Ben Johnson's the new coach of the Bears yesterday. Aaron Glenn is the new coach of the New York Jets. He was drafted by the Jets in the first round, 12th overall back in 1994. If I ask you about Aaron Glenn, obviously he's a fantastic defensive coordinator, but really what does he bring to the table that Robert Saleh didn't bring to the table when he was hired?
I mean, look, I would say Saleh's defense statistically much better than what Aaron Glenn had. Aaron Glenn, a former Jet.
So he brings a little family franchise tie.
Yeah, I guess. If you're Aaron Glenn, like if I'm a Jets fan, I mean, hell, you don't win with anybody, and now you're in a quarterback situation where is it going to be Aaron Rodgers, or even if it's not, you've got to go out and draft somebody this year, and I don't think any of these quarterbacks are ready to come in and make a Jaden Daniels impact.
The only thing that can make Aaron Glenn possibly better than Robert Saleh is a quarterback.
Yeah.
I mean, when did Robert Saleh have a good quarterback?
Never.
He had a Hall of Fame quarterback, but they didn't get good play out of him. They got an injury 4 plays in, and then a very, very, very depleted Aaron Rodgers for a full season. So, and he didn't even get that full season. Saleh didn't. So you're only going to be as good as the quarterback you get if you're Aaron Glenn, and I don't know who that's going to be for them. I mean, it's going to be a draft, right? They're picking one of these guys. So Aaron Glenn's going to have to pick the right guy.
New Orleans, Jacksonville, Las Vegas, and Dallas are the only openings still left. Al Golden did leave Notre Dame. He's the Bengals defensive coordinator. Yesterday, the Titans let it be known they will not pass on a generational talent. They didn't say they were drafting Travis Hunter, but that's got to be Travis Hunter, right?
I mean, I don't think you've got a generational talent at quarterback. Yeah, I mean, I would think Travis Hunter's the only guy.
They need one of those, by the way.
Yeah, they do.
Which is odd for them to come out and say this, right? But they say they will not pass on a generational talent. So if you're Travis Hunter, you better fall in love with the city of Nashville, right?
There's worse places to live.
Oh, yeah. Travis Hunter would do well to live in Nashville. I mean, again, that is a great pick for them. I think Travis Hunter will be a tremendous defensive back in the NFL, but that's another franchise that until they get it right at quarterback, you can draft all the Travis Hunters you want. It's not going to do any good. They are awful at quarterback. They had the worst quarterback situation in the NFL this year with Will Levis.
All you have to do is look at the Commanders to see what we're talking about. Jaden Daniels becomes the 6th rookie to start a conference championship game. 6 rookies that have started a conference championship game.
Roethlisberger did, right?
Big Ben is probably the only Hall of Famer, surefire Hall of Famer on this list. Most recently, Brock Purdy did it with the 49ers.
All right. Boy, the bloom is off that rose, isn't it?
2 other guys, and then one guy that's going to be harder to remember. Of the 5 that have done it before Jaden Daniels this weekend.
Give us a team.
Yeah.
Oh, well, if I give you the team, I'm going to give it away. I'll do hints here.
Okay.
First one is you have sat next to this guy and had a conversation with this NFL quarterback.
Wow.
In his post-career. He also used to quarterback your USC Trojans.
Sanchez.
Mark Sanchez.
Yeah, Sanchez did it with the Jets. Yeah,
Did it with the Jets. This other guy is bounced around, played for a long time, not considered to be very interesting at quarterback, Joe Flacco.
Boy, so
he
good
did
in
it
the
with
postseason.
Baltimore. Yeah.
Yep. And then this other guy is a forgotten guy.
What team?
I will tell you that it was, if I give you the team, it's going to give it away.
Is it Andrew Luck?
No, but he's a rookie that led his team and started a conference championship game in one of the lowest, not the lowest scoring Rams-Buccaneer NFC Championship game of all time, but maybe the second lowest scoring Rams-Buccaneers.
Oh,
NFC.
Sean King.
Sean freaking King.
Out of Tulane.
Small hands.
Yeah, small hands. But he had the Buccaneers, or at least that defense did, with a chance to go to the Super Bowl against the Rams. So
there's not a great history of being a rookie quarterback.
Big Ben's a Hall of Famer. I don't think Flacco will be. Maybe. I don't think so.
No, Flacco won't be. Hall of Famer.
Sanchez will not.
No, there's
we'll
not
see
another
about
one on the
Purdy.
list.
King is not.
No.
So Jaden Daniels, potentially, other than Big Ben, the greatest rookie quarterback ever to make it to a championship game.
So off the top of my head, this is right. Caleb points out in the MyBookie.ag chat room, big Commanders fan, that there has been only one team to win a road game in this postseason. Is that right? And the Commanders have won both of them? There are 2 road wins in this postseason, and they've both come by the Commanders.
Tampa Bay and then Detroit.
I think that is correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they are the only postseason team to win a road game.
Everybody else were buys.
Everybody else buys or they won at home.
Yeah,
Either
they
one.
had the buys, and they played one game and eliminated the teams that won.
So this is a road-tested team in the postseason. I kind of like them in this game. I kind of like Washington. I mean, it's going against everything to think a rookie can take a team to the Super Bowl.
Well, if Jalen Hurts continues to be as pedestrian as he has been over the last couple of games, I mean, I don't know how they continue to come up with the offense. I mean, they ripped off 3 40-plus yard runs against the Rams. That was their entire offense.
That was it.
Best quarterback in each game, in my opinion, the way they're playing right now, easily Jaden Daniels. And to me, Josh Allen is slightly ahead of Patrick Mahomes.
It's not
right
easily
now.
Josh Allen. I agree with you. It's slightly ahead of Patrick Mahomes,
but
I think easily Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, the way they're playing, though, I would agree. I mean, I think Josh Allen's a better quarterback in the moment.
So if they live up to where they've been, best quarterbacks in the game are the 2 visiting teams this weekend. Again, that's all happening on Sunday. Tyler's got our 4 downs when we come back. Little shout-out to Deion Sanders before I tell you about Urology Centers of Alabama. It turns out Rick George and the boosters at Colorado have stepped up. They are increasing Deion's NIL a little bit out there to spend. There is a good chance he's going to get a new contract and a raise coming up here before the start of next season. And they posted yesterday the best GPA in Colorado football history. The team had a 3.0 GPA, which is a massive number. And it had the head of academics, the tutor for athletics, letting Deion know that they had that video, and she was thanking him because he's such a taskmaster of making them go to class and do their work that it's helped raise the GPA. Nothing is she's been there for years at Colorado. Nothing she's seen like it in Colorado athletics.
He gets a lot of criticism. But to be fair, there is a lot Deion does right.
I got to
give him credit.
And I'm going to be cynical here, though. I just don't believe any of these guys go to class anymore. Like, I was talking to somebody a couple of days ago, and they were talking about somebody that got bowl eligible a couple of years ago, and he hadn't been to a class since September. Since September.
Well, until the grades come out, you're still passing. The grades don't come out to the end of the semester.
I mean, is that the deal? You guys would, I mean, I think we were all on the same page when it came to going to college. It was more a social experiment. It was about getting a degree and ultimately getting a job, but it was doing just enough to get through. Like, if I was one of these guys, like the Bryce Underwood, okay, you're going to give me $10 million. Also, I am not going to look at anything.
I don't want to crack a textbook.
So whoever's going to take my stuff online, I don't care who it is, and I really don't care as long as they pass me.
They do. A lot of the athletes do now do it all virtually.
They do a lot of online classes.
They don't go to the classroom. They do them all online. All right. Our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama, 16 great locations treating all your urological needs from prostate health to kidney stones, vasectomy, and everything else. Phone number you see on your screen if you're watching us on the video platform, 205-930-0920. Use that to make your appointment, 205-930-0920, or visit urologycentersalabama.com to find a location near you, 16 of them, or to schedule an appointment online. It's urologycentersalabama.com.
Follow Brownie on Twitter and Instagram at Ryan Brown Live.
It's the O'Reilly Auto Parts World of Wheels, January 31st through February 2nd at the BJCC. With customs, classics, hot rods, and more. Check out the exotic lineup in the Supercar South Hall. Sponsored by Mob Inc. And don't miss the BMX stunt team performing outrageous stunts live. Friday only, meet All Elite wrestler Christian Cage. Saturday, it's Bill Carlton from Texas Metal. And Sunday, meet Oscar from The Office. Bring the kids for free Hot Wheels racing, costume characters, rides, and more. Get discount tickets at all O'Reilly Auto Parts stores. Details at worldofwheels.net.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Remember the name Way to Wellness if you're battling weight loss in your life. I'm Jim Dunaway from The Next Round. There was a time I was over 216 pounds until Way to Wellness helped me lose 45 pounds, and now for over 2 years, they've helped me keep that weight off. Here's their website, aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. That's a great name for a website because there's no cookie cutter plan. Everything is designed specifically for you. No contract, no sign-up fees, and your first consultation is free at Way to Wellness.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com. Want more of the show? Download the app or visit nextroundlive.com for the latest podcast, The Mystery Fifth Hour, our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call, and the entire Double Down Media podcast family. All at nextroundlive.com and on the Next Round app.
The World Wide Web is a large place. Find all your favorite people and content in the same spot. NextRoundLive.com is full of wonderful tidbits about the show you know and love. Find our gear, listen to your favorite personalities, follow our socials, and enjoy your trip to NextRoundLive.com.
When the clock hits 0, go to all Next Round video platforms for instant reactions for the latest Auburn and Alabama basketball games. Follow, like, subscribe, and set those alerts. The madness starts now, so be a part of it at Next Round Live on all social platforms.
Hang out with the Next Round on the go. Whether you're driving to work, running errands, sitting on the beach, or you just need a break from the real world, we can keep you company. Check out the Next Round, Mystery Fifth Hour, and our other shows on your favorite podcast app. We'll meet you there. It's time to pull the trigger on the Next Round merch that you've been eyeing. We know there's a lot to choose from at nextround.store, so here's a few of our favorite picks. If you want to match LT and Brown, go with the TNR logo hoodie and throw in one of Dunaway's favorite hats. Any of them will do. The Backroom's go-to is the classic logo t-shirt, while my personal favorite is the light blue TNR crew neck. All of these items can be found at nextround.store and are EG approved. Rest assured, your order will be packed with lots of love from us here at the Next Round. Head over to nextround.store to start filling up your cart.
Just because you've quit going to the gym, it doesn't mean that you have to quit gym altogether. Dunaway, that is. With our Next Round podcasts open 24/7, 365, you can access gym anytime you'd like. While you may have done away with your treadmill routine, our version of Dunaway is standing by ready to get you back to your absolute best. Find all that lovely Jimmy D-led content on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and in the podcast section of nextroundlive.com. This message is sponsored by Jimmy Crypto Inc. and Jimmy Crypto for President.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com, for the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com.
Back with you on the Next Round. Before we move away from the NFL playoffs, Brown, you had a point to make about the NFC Championship game quarterbacks.
Well, you know, A lot of people like to just crap on anything, really. And the transfer portal gets painted as this thing that's going to end college athletics, and it's awful, and there's no good that comes out of it. We just watched a national championship game with two quarterbacks that I think it's safe to say never get the opportunity to play for a national championship, if not for the transfer portal. And one of them basically was kind of, I mean, would you call Will Howard shoved out by Kansas State?
I would say that, yes.
Yeah, I mean, they wanted to go with Avery Johnson. So one of them kind of like lost his job and said, I'll go see if I can win it
To a
elsewhere.
guy that drives a purple Corvette.
That is correct. A purple Corvette is saying something. So we just saw a national championship. And Riley Leonard was never going to do it at Duke. He went in and did it at Notre Dame. A lot of people can't stomach that, and that's fine. I would say this, though. If you watch the NFC Championship game Sunday, you'll watch two quarterbacks that I think it is fair to say never get this opportunity if not for the transfer portal. Like, if Jaden Daniels is stuck at Arizona State, Lance, I just don't know that he develops into what he developed into. You watched him.
The coaching, his freshman year, he was really good under Herm Edwards, but that ended up being a disaster.
Yeah, that was going to be a disaster for that guy.
And he was fortunate to get out. I remember when he transferred, even, I include myself on this saying, man, I don't know if Jaden Daniels is good enough to start at LSU.
And he did and won the Heisman. And without that transfer to LSU, I don't know what happens to Jaden Daniels. And
yeah, I would agree 100%. I never thought Jalen Hurts would be a starting quarterback.
I know what
in the NFL.
I know what happens to Jalen Hurts without the transfer portal.
That's right.
He stays at Alabama. He finishes his career as a backup to Tua Tagovailoa, and he's not in the NFL. That guy was not an NFL quarterback when he left Tuscaloosa. He had improved a little bit, but Lincoln Riley made him an NFL quarterback. So, I mean, I think it is safe to say you would have an NFC Championship game with two different quarterbacks if not for the transfer portal. And, love it or hate it, I mean, there is some good that comes out of it. Those guys don't succeed what they have.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of those.
You know,
even going back, Gardner Minshew. I know it's been a long time, but Minshew was one of these guys back before the portal was what it was. When he left East Carolina, and everybody knows the story, he was going to come to Alabama, and Mike Leach called him up and said, "Do you want to hold a clipboard, or do you want to be the nation's leading passer?" Without going to Washington State, there's not a chance Gardner Minshew even sniffs the NFL.
Not at all.
Still taking starting snaps last year.
Right.
I know the guy has made a pretty good living.
So the portal has, and look, and I said this, I remember us doing a show when Russell Wilson was in the portal.
Oh, yeah.
Way back when he ended up going from NC State to Wisconsin.
Controversial.
Yeah, and Jeremiah Masoli, guys like that, and we were like, man, this would be really exciting if this happened more often, and now you've got it all the time. So the quarterback position is the exciting position. But you're dead on. I mean, a lot of these guys would not be surviving and playing right now if it wasn't for the portal.
Our Way to Wellness fact check right here, by the way. It is painted that Ohio State just won the national championship with the portal. 19 of their 22 starters signed with Ohio State out of high school. The only starters that did not was quarterback Will Howard, Quinshon Judkins, and Caleb Downs.
Yep.
The other 19 were Ohio State signees out of high school. Where they did win because of NIL is they kept 5 of those guys from going to be high NFL draft picks. They got them to come back another year because they were able to pay them millions of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars in different cases to stay another year at Ohio State. So that roster did get bumped up by some original Ohio State guys, but 19 of 22 were original Ohio State signees from high school. So it was not a roster that was built on outside product. 19 of the 22 in this day and age, pretty strong for Ohio State.
Those 3 are pretty important. Quinshon Judkins is awful good in the national championship game.
Yeah, and
Will Howard.
Will Howard's pretty important.
I haven't watched the film, but I'm going to say Caleb Downs probably graded out okay.
You guys think Judkins has a better NFL career than college career?
It's possible.
Yeah.
It is possible.
Boy,
he runs angry.
I don't know if it's just because he's wearing shorts out there, but his legs look like they are tree trunks.
Yeah. I mean, I think Judkins is going to be really, really good at the next level.
Those transfers carried a little weight. If you're carrying a little extra weight, our friends at Way to Wellness can help you right now. aplanforme.com. That's Leslie and her board-certified team down there's website. Way to Wellness. Just go to aplanforme.com and start your weight loss journey. If you want to just get details, she has a free consultation with you. No obligation at all, just aplanforme.com to get details for that free consultation. Meal replacements, injection therapy, and so much more. No contracts, no sign-up fees, and that free consultation. It's Way to Wellness, your journey to healthy living. 4 Downs every day, brought to you by our friends at Slice. On Thursday, Tyler has them for us. Tell us about our friends at Slice.
Yeah, great place to go for lunch or dinner. 5 locations created by the late Jeff Bajaya. His brothers, Jason and Chris, continue to celebrate that legacy. Get into one of those locations today. Lakeview, Vestavia, Montevallo, Crestline Park, newest location in Edgewood. Local pizza, local ingredients. For more information, slicebirmingham.com.
First down.
Describe your perfect burger from the bun to the meat to the toppings and condiments.
Okay, so I go potato bun. I like double smash. I like sharp cheddar cheese. I like grilled onions. I like Wickles, and I like mayonnaise, Duke's mayonnaise. And you put that thing together, but it's hard to beat.
Yeah, I'm pretty simple, Tyler. Just as long as my favorite burger is grilled over wood or charcoal. Anyway, grilled, not seared or any of the smash burger or anything. My favorite one is on a grill, and I like to keep it simple. I like the yellow cheese. I like the ketchup, mustard, onion, pickle, tomato, mayonnaise, and that's good for me.
Grilled thick burger for me. You got to get the bun.
You just did a Whopper.
I do like a good Whopper.
The bun to meat ratio's got to be right. That's key.
I agree with that. That is key.
Bun to meat, bread to meat in any sandwich, bun to meat in any burger.
And I think I would rather have more meat than bun.
If you're going to make an error one way or the other, I'd rather it be on the meat.
100%.
Yeah, give me more meat. Bun to meat ratio is right. Grilled thick burger, lettuce, tomato, pickles, barbecue sauce. And I am all in. I do like the bun buttered and toasted, but I can live without that.
Yeah, I don't like toasted bread.
Tyler, do you like the smash burger?
I do like smash burgers.
I think they're fantastic.
No, the smash burger is really good.
Because I like all the
texture.
the burnt particles on it too.
Yeah,
I don't mind them.
I don't hate them, but I would prefer a thicker grilled burger.
I think I left my cheese off. Colby Jack cheese has to be melted. You can't put it on as you're putting the burger together. It's got to be on the grill. Put the piece of cheese on there. Let it melt on the grill.
And I've got a new burger that I came across that I want you two to try to see what you guys think about it. But
I'm all in.
Very, very good.
All you got to do is tell me.
Second down.
By the way, I think if you do melt it on the grill, the cheese, I think you lose some of the cheese flavoring, but that's just me.
Yeah. I mean, you might. I just don't like it. It never gets melted right if you just put it on right out.
It's an art. You got to put it on at the right time.
You do.
And right when it starts to melt is when you got to get it off.
Yeah.
All right, second down, you got to get rid of one of these breakfast cereals forever. All flavors of Cheerios, Captain Crunch, Cinnamon Toast Crunch, Frosted Flakes.
Yeah. Easy for me. I go Frosted Flakes. That can be done with. Cinnamon Toast Crunch is next. Can be done with.
You only have to get rid of the one.
I just have to get rid of one of them?
Yes. He was keeping one.
Then I would probably get rid of Cinnamon Toast Crunch. I thought I was eliminating them and ranking them there.
Yeah, so I when I got back from New York a month or whatever ago, I just felt awful. And I had these old-time cravings, and so Frosted Flakes were one of the things I craved. And boy, they're good. They're not as good as they once were, but they're still really good. But I had to, Jack and his buddy house-sitted for me on Tuesday night, so just a couple of nights ago. So I went to the grocery store for them, and I was like, what do you guys want? And the only cereal they wanted was Cinnamon Toast Crunch. I can't stand it.
Yeah.
I've got it in my house
so
right now.
I would take it out.
I got 2 of these in my house right now, Cinnamon Toast Crunch and Captain Crunch with Crunch Berries.
Yeah.
So both those are in.
The problem with Captain Crunch, we all know.
It tears up the roof of your mouth.
It
But I
does.
do like Captain Crunch with Crunch Berries.
Me too. I don't like the Crunch Berries, but Captain Crunch.
Yeah, Randy Brown loved Frosted Flakes growing up, so I've got a sentimental part of that. I used to eat Frosted Flakes when I was a kid.
That's a good, solid cereal.
It is. It's one my dad loved. I could do away with Cheerios and be just fine. Now,
But see, I can't do that to society.
No, because kids eat them.
That's right. Because of young parents out there.
Yep.
All of the young parents who are out there know that you need a bag of Cheerios.
It's a game changer.
Anytime you go to the restaurant or riding down the road or whatever.
But I was
you
going to
gotta
say,
have some
if you're ever a server, the Cheerio and the Goldfish, you absolutely
Oh, I'm sure you do. But they're a game changer as a parent because they're cheap, they're easy to transport.
And keeping that baggie for days.
The kids will eat Cheerios for days on end. Yep.
Some places do Fruit Loops. instead.
I've seen that. Yeah,
I've
I
seen
got no
that.
problem with that. I like Fruit Loops. Yeah.
Yeah, I like Fruit Loops. I like Tricks. I do not like Tricks, but I,
don't
like
like
Fruit
Tricks.
Loops.
I hadn't had Tricks in a very, very long time. Did you like Cocoa Puffs? Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs?
I did not.
That was the chocolate
I don't
Tricks.
like anything that destroys the milk that quickly.
Yeah. I would tell you this though. This is.
And by the way, I've gone back to whole milk with the cereal.
Oh, interesting.
Have you really?
Oh, so good.
I will tell
like
you that
glue.
and this is a problem with our society because I don't think it really costs more money to make this. I don't know why. I'm trying to be more health conscious, and I'm eating. My cereal is called Magic Spoon, and it is.
That's a good cereal.
That's an expensive cereal.
It is very
Pass that
expensive.
one
That's
to
what,
the
that's what I was going to say.
I guarantee you, he didn't buy it.
Maggie buys it, and I tried the peanut butter one, not my favorite, but the one that basically is a Magic Spoon Fruit Loops is a delicious cereal.
It's good. It's a little off though.
So
it's not as much flavor.
Just a
My
little
wife, as you know, is a type 1 diabetic, and they market that to diabetics a lot because it's very low in carbs.
Very low in carb, very low
Sugar.
in sugar.
Yep.
Yeah. So I'm eating the Magic Spoon, and it not only is it a smaller box than say your Cheerios or the other cereals, it is when you open it up, there's just not a whole lot there, and I'm a grown man. So I'm 2 bowls for me, and
I have to go 2 bowls.
That's an entire box.
Oh yeah, and that's $10 box.
And that's a $10 box.
I cannot do 1 bowl of cereal. That's a problem for me with cereal. Is I never get to the end of 1 bowl, and I'm like, that's enough for me. I always want to refill.
Forgetting Sarah Marshall was on the other night, and watching, one of the first scenes with Jason Segel. His bowl is like, it's the whole box of cereal, but it's a massive bowl.
That's the way I used to eat it. I'd pour it all into one big bowl.
It really is. That is one of the easy things to completely knock out is a box of cereal.
How about Michael said, I had Boo-Berry this morning. Don't judge me. Boy, I hadn't had Boo-Berry.
Boo-Berry's good.
I have not had that in forever.
Yeah, it's probably been 40 years for me.
Yeah.
But Maggie's the one that I never knew. I had never bought him the Magic Spoon. And when I finished the
Boy,
whole
she likes to spend your money.
When I finished the whole new, well, she was saving me here because I finished the whole box. I was like, God, this is only two bowls for me. And I was eating it for dinner one night for some reason. She came back from church and she was like, she was going to have Magic Spoon for dinner too, I guess. And she was like, hey, where's the Magic Spoon? I said,
at the grocery store.
I ate both.
I'll eat.
I ate both. I ate 2 bowls of it and it was gone. And she's like, and then she dropped the price on me like it was with a bad episode of Price is Right. So then I got sent to my room.
I spent your $10. Yeah. You go sleep on the couch again.
Yeah. No video games, go straight to your room.
Third down.
Today in 1993, Al Pacino won a Golden Globe for his performance in Scent of a Woman. What's your favorite Al Pacino performance or movie?
So that's my go-to, one of my Thanksgiving films. It was an over-the-top performance, but that was an over-the-top Colonel Frank Slade. That was an over-the-top character, but I didn't think it was as good as Serpico. Like, I thought Glengarry Glen Ross was good. My favorite Al Pacino movie is probably Heat, but I thought he was way too over the top in that. And I thought as a bit part.
Think of how many times you say Al Pacino's way too over the top. It's every movie he's in.
Donnie Brasco, I thought he was really good.
Was he way too over the top?
Not really.
What about your
Lefty?
Any Given Sunday for me.
Oh my God!
The first one.
Such an awful movie.
It's the first one I thought of.
I'm not a big Pacino guy because I'm with Lance. I think he's way too over the top.
It wasn't in The Godfathers.
No, but I think the first Godfather, the actual original Godfather, is the only time he hasn't looked like completely smarmy. And it was his best acting job to me. I mean, I hate to go like the easiest answer here, but it was Godfather, and it was the original. He got worse as they got worse.
Yeah, but he's got a lot of those gritty, you go back to Panic in Needle Park, you go to Dog Day Afternoon. I mean, he's got a lot of like independent early on roles.
What about when he was the devil? What was that one?
Devil's Advocate.
Yeah, like that one too.
And
Keanu Reeves.
Yeah. And who's
Charlize
the girl? Charlize Theron, yeah. What's the one that ends up with the absurd shootout in the train station? Is that Heat?
No, it's Carlito's Way.
Carlito's Way, yeah.
Yeah, I love that too, but
well, that's an absurd scene.
I don't know how good his Puerto Rican accent is.
Not great.
And then Scarface is obviously over the top as Tony Montana.
Who's the?
But I did think Heat was his best film, best performance. I would just go Son of a Woman. He did play a blind man well.
What's the guy's name in Carlito's Way that is? He owns the club with the big fat guy.
Luis Guzman.
No, the other guy. It's the
Sasso?
Guy. Yeah, Sasso. Yeah, that's a good character.
Yeah,
I like that
Sasso
guy.
gets on all those gambling bets.
Yeah, Sasso.
But that's Brian De Palma again. So De Palma did Scarface. Oliver Stone wrote it.
Yeah.
And so then De Palma wanted him to play another role in that genre, and that's where they came up with Carlito's Way.
4th down.
The rapper XXX Tentacion would have been 27 years old today. What's the strangest name for a musician or band that you've ever heard?
I was just going to go some bad names, like Foo Fighters, Limp Bizkit, Goo Goo Dolls,
Hoobastank,
Hootie and the Blowfish. I mean, those are bad band names.
I never knew if Hoobastank meant anything.
What was their song? The Reason?
Something. Yeah, The Reason. That's I kind of like that song, actually.
Yeah. Toad the Wet Sprocket. I was a fan of them. I thought that was a cool name, Toad the Wet Sprocket.
But here's something I brought up, Tyler, that I'll ask you. Like, do you think these people, like when they chose, we're going to name our band Jimmy Eat World, did they think that one day we'll be synonymous with the Rolling Stones? We're going to be Jimmy Eat World, and they're going to talk about us like we're the Rolling Stones.
Or did they have a guy in the band Jimmy, and they were traveling around? And they're like, damn, he's eating up our profits, man. Jimmy eats the world.
I mean, there's no way when you name your band that you think you're going to be the greatest band of all time.
Well,
right?
Look, like a lot of musicians aren't the most ambitious people in the world, and it's more about they love the art, they love playing, they throw this name together, and they never expect to get that big.
Boy, a lot of butthole surfers, by the way, in the chat room.
That's probably
bad
the
name.
best answer for that.
Yeah.
Or is it King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard?
Hey, our man today didn't even make it to the 27 Club. Like, he died 4, 5, 6 years ago, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
What's his number one hit?
I don't know.
I have no earthly idea.
Probably the one he took to the chest.
I didn't even
right?
know that's how you pronounced it until that's how Tyler said it. I've never known how to pronounce that. XXX.
Hey, give us a quick picture of him. He hated the facial tattoo.
Death Cab for Cutie from Chris.
Oh, that's a great name.
The Grateful Dead from Hugh. Like, you think of them differently because they were tremendously successful.
Well,
but
it's like Matchbox 20.
Yeah.
Like, that ends up terrible name, but it ends up fitting really well for them.
Yeah. I mean, the Foo Fighters have had success. It's a weird name, but they've had success.
That's that chain looks like it's choking him a little bit, doesn't it? Or those chains.
So what killed him?
A bullet.
Gunshot. Yeah. Yeah. He was going to a sort of motorsports dealership to get a new bike or something like that, and he was robbed.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Oh, wow. Looks like a nice guy.
Yeah, I'm going to say inside job.
Some people think that it was a hit put out by Drake.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Oh, wow. Mm-hmm. Allegedly, you should say there.
That's why I said some people think.
Some people think.
I'm not saying I necessarily think that.
What is your theory?
Can you punch Tyler up real quick so we have the photo ID on who said this? It was not us. Not us.
The guy in the
Are you
box.
more worried about libel, or are you more worried about somebody coming up here and
more worried about Drake?
Yeah. I think when the sentence
former
includes,
Disney guy.
When the sentence includes put a hit out on, you're generally nervous about those people, right?
Yeah, I do not believe that story, for the record. And that is 4 Downs today, brought to you by our friends at Slice.
Yeah, stop in, get a slice and a salad today for lunch. Pick up a couple of pies on your way home. For more information on their great product and to check out that menu, go to slicebirmingham.com.
Oh, Chris says St. Paul and the Broken Bones. Odd name. It's my brother's band. We love St. Paul and the Broken Bones.
We do.
It's such a fun interview.
Yeah, the lead singer he's a fan of the show.
It just seemed to me like with such
you guys want to go back this year, right?
Oh,
Sure,
would love
why
to,
not?
yeah.
I didn't know who the lineup is.
I don't know either.
I would just say that the way he sings, it's such a show, but it almost is like it is almost would play in a big cathedral as well.
Oh, yeah.
I always like the religious tie into
he's
it.
a man possessed when he plays.
Yeah, the night we saw him down in Florida, literally was crawling underneath the drum kit while singing.
Yeah.
I mean, who does that? On his back, underneath the drum kit.
Funny dude, man.
Good dude.
No, that was a fun weekend.
Oh, I loved
fun
it.
weekend.
Yeah.
Love to get back down there for that. Those concerts cranking up pretty soon. DanielMooreArt.com for your greatest moment in Alabama sports history. You can get the latest one, the legend, a tribute to Coach Nick Saban and his 6 national championships. Go to the website, check everything out. Don't forget the coupon code, the promo code, TNR right there with everything you order at New Life Art there. The website is DanielMooreArt.com, DanielMooreArt.com for former great moments and the ones in the future. Keep that on the top of your mind there. DanielMooreArt.com, DanielMooreArt.com. Top of the hour, Dan Orlovsky on the other side. Stay with us.
Follow Dunaway on Twitter and Instagram at Jim Dunaway.
It's the O'Reilly Auto Parts World of Wheels, January 31st through February 2nd at the BJCC. With customs, classics, hot rods, and more. Check out the exotic lineup in the Supercar South Hall. Sponsored by Mob Inc. And don't miss the BMX stunt team performing outrageous stunts live. Friday only, meet All Elite wrestler Christian Cage. Saturday, it's Bill Carlton from Texas Metal. And Sunday, meet Oscar from The Office. Bring the kids for free Hot Wheels racing, costume characters, rides, and more. Get discount tickets at all O'Reilly Auto Parts stores. Details at worldofwheels.net.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
By now, you guys know how I feel about my fashion. However, did you know that I care about your fashion choices? Cargo shorts are out, flip-flops are only appropriate on the boat, and please throw away that stained t-shirt from college. You may be thinking, EG, that's all I own. What do I do? Here's what you do. Go to nextround.store and fill your cart with a wardrobe that is approved by me. Stock up on logo t-shirts, hoodies for football season, and hats for every day of the week. Trust me on this one and head over to nextround.store to get stocked up for this season.
From the creators of The Next Round comes 2 new sites, covercrimson.com and thebarnauburn.com. 2 team sites with the same excitement and information-driven content that you get every day on The Next Round. Live daily shows, recorded shows, free of charge, plus premium content with insider information starting at just $1. And it's the perfect gift for the Alabama or Auburn fan in your family. Covercrimson.com or thebarnauburn.com. Sign up today.
Happy football season. At The Next Round, we strive to make our loyal listeners feel like they're a part of the action all season long. My name is Emily Grace McWhorter, and I do that by bringing you along for any given Saturday in Auburn or Tuscaloosa. From pregame warm-ups, touchdowns that make you feel a part of the play, and everything in between, our goal is to make you feel like you're inside Bryant Denny or Jordan Hare. Follow along on our social media at Next Round Live on Instagram, X, and Facebook. Also, check out thebarnauburn.com and covercrimson.com while you're at it. Here's to fall Saturdays.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about my friends at Michelson Laser Vision, located conveniently UAB Highlands. Almost 20 years ago, I went in for the procedure. Only took 12 minutes for both eyes. When I went in, I had 2200 vision. I was legally blind. Now I have 20/15 vision, still 19 years later. Make the call today. Schedule a hassle-free consultation. 969-8100. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, Michelson Laser Vision. Make sure you tell them the Next Round sent you. 969-8100 or MichelsonLaserVision.com. Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
As we all know, there's no off season when it comes to college football. If you want to stay in the know with all things Auburn, join us over on thebarnauburn.com and get $25 off your annual subscription. We'll keep you up to date and give you exclusive content all the way to the first Saturday of football season on thebarnauburn.com.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, The Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Final hour of the show. Forrester, get that Ryan Day video ready to go after I tell you about the great folks at Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken, champyschicken.com, Highway 119 in Alabaster. They're just always wonderful. They've been open for 1 minute and 53 seconds now. For lunch, you can swing by there and have the brined overnight, cooked to order, piping hot Southern fried chicken that Sterling just makes so good day in and day out. The consistency is where the championship quality comes from. It is always spot on at Champy's Chicken. those Mississippi Delta recipe tamales and the customer service that only Sterling provides. Check it out at champyschicken.com. Highway 119 in Alabaster, it is Champy's Chicken. Before you show the video, Forster, I think I actually made Tim Melton laugh the other night at Poker Club as we watched Ryan Day sling his headset towards the stands.
Right.
Did it hit somebody? I wonder
know.
when he threw it.
That's a lot of stuff.
I told Melton, and I'll let Melton be the judge before we show the video, did I make you laugh or not? I said, if this was a movie, he had to remind me the name of it, Naked Gun, that Ryan Day then would throw his headset into the stands like that, and it would go flying, and then you'd have Lou Holtz in the skybox, and it would wrap around Holtz's neck and strangle him to death. Was that a true laugh or not from you the other night?
Do you want the honest truth here in my reaction?
I do, yes.
Yes, it was an honest, true belly laugh. However, I'm the one who said he was throwing it at Lou Holtz, and then you just sort of finished the job.
Oh, wow. Did you see Dunaway take credit for the entire joke?
It's typical Dunaway.
Wait a second.
Yeah.
Wow. Dunaway
you
just
said he's
took
throwing
full
it
credit.
at Lou Holtz.
Yeah.
I'm the one who said in front of the whole club, and I can, call them up individually and recount the story. I said that he's clearly aiming that headset towards Lou Holtz, and then you thought it was so hilarious
that you went up.
Then decided to take it to the Naked Gun level, and I thought that was a nice cherry on top of the sundae that I had made.
Yes. Okay. I'll give you that. Is the way I remember it. Yes, but I'll give you that. But my part was the best part, right?
Absolutely. I was going to finish this by saying you're very funny.
Yeah. Here's the video.
Didn't know we had Carlos Mencia on.
Exactly. We've had him before.
Very funny, not insecure at all.
Yeah. Here, this Ohio State sent the video out the moment we knew. You see it again. I thought it would maybe made it to the stands, but as Forster and I were sort of reconstructing this like it came from a grassy knoll this morning, we don't think it had enough juice to make it all the way to the stands there. Because at some point now, somebody would say, I caught Ryan Day's headset. You would have seen that on social media.
He is a former quarterback. I don't know how much he threw it in that Chip Kelly offense.
Yeah. But no, you're right. Somebody would have been all over social media now saying, I am the possessor of the national championship headset. Because
if that was Dana Holgerson, he would have had to pay for it, right?
Yeah.
Was it Holgerson that was breaking them?
So much that they had to get onto him.
We think it came up a little short. Congratulations to him. Congratulations to Marcus Freeman, the runner-up. He is the Bear Bryant Coach of the Year. That award went out this week as well for Marcus Freeman there, and that's a big honor as the National Coach of the Year from the Bear Bryant folks there. All right, we'll get to the NFL coming up with Orlovsky right after LT tells us about our friends at New York Butcher Shop.
New York Butcher Shop, just a great place to go to enjoy some of those deli sandwiches for lunch, pick up some on your way home from dinner. Of course, they've got pre-prepared meals like the lasagnas. They've got different casseroles. And, of course, when it comes to the steaks, the absolute best. Stop in, see Jim and his butchers there. 2 locations, Cahaba Heights, Highway 119 in Greystone. Great selection of fine wines and desserts as well. One-stop dinner shop. Rare quality, well-done service. It is the New York Butcher Shop.
Before Orlovsky joins us for his ride away from the ESPN studios, the X Games start today. At one moment, it was so cool for the Winter X Games. And then, of course, it has the excitement for it has died off. I think it is now only.
Wait, have you ever actually watched it?
Yeah. The original year? Did you not see? Did you not watch the X Games?
No.
Behind the glass, when the Winter X Games originally started with the snowboarding and all the stuff that came with that, did you guys not watch it at all? No X Games at all from you guys?
I don't think I was alive at the time.
Yeah.
I mean, it was an ESPN2 thing back in the day.
Was it alive?
I mean, I feel like I remember watching a little bit of the Flying Tomato, Shaun White.
I was familiar with him. But
yeah, I was familiar because they forced it on you because it was an ESPN production. That's the only. I never sat back and watched it.
I can't say that I was ever just locked into the X Games.
Melton, no, you?
No. I was watching X Play on G4, which was the video game review show, but not X Games.
The X Games, when they originally started, was tremendous, I thought, with the snowboarding specifically. So much so it became Olympic sports.
It did, yeah. That probably hurt the X Games.
They took the X Games and made them Olympic sports.
Yeah, as one will do. All right, let's talk some NFL playoffs. The AFC and NFC Championship games coming up this weekend. ESPN's Dan Orlovsky in the car with us now. What is up, Dan? How are you, my friend?
Hey, guys. I'm doing good. How are you?
Doing well. I was just making the point, this kind of occurred to me today. The transfer portal gets a lot of bad rap, and it's earned some of it. I get that. But, we just saw a national championship game between two quarterbacks that will never have a chance to win a national championship if not for the transfer portal. And I would make the case the NFC Championship features two quarterbacks that probably are not in the NFL without the transfer portal. It's hard to know what happens to Jaden Daniels, but we were watching what was happening to Jalen Hurts. I mean, without the portal, Dan, I don't know that either of these guys are in that place.
Yeah, the portal's been great for quarterbacks. Go back to Joe Burrow as well. So yeah, the portal's been super good for quarterbacks. I think there's a lot of benefits that come from it. There is the don't run from competition and challenge yourself reality. I think for quarterbacks, there's also a little bit of, it's hard to go from one program to the other. It's hard to have a name or a reputation at one place and then go to a different one. And you got to kind of remake it so your leadership grows and how you interact with certain groups of people. The kids who go to Arizona State are a little bit different than the kids that I'm sure attend LSU and play football there. So I think there's a lot of benefits that can come from, transferring as a quarterback and just a lot of the things that are hard to measure about that position as well. I think there's a lot of benefit that come from it.
So the Rams get down 13 with just 4 minutes to go. They cut it to, after the missed extra point, they cut it to 6. Then they've got ball in hand. The pass to Puka Nacua was unbelievable. The catch was unbelievable. When they got down to the 21, 1st and 10 with a minute and a half to go, how did they not win this game? How did they not finish the deal?
Yeah. Jalen Carter. Very simply put, honestly, after that throw to Puka, the completion down the sideline, I would have bet, I'm not being hyperbolic here, every single dime that I have that the Rams would have won that game. I just have seen it so often in a place of comfort. Usually Matthew's leading them back or his team back with no time on the clock. So, really goes to that 3rd and 2 play when they have a pass called and Carter sacks Stafford. And it, in many ways, is the season-saving play because if he doesn't make that sack, their tight end, Tyler Higbee, is actually running a little bit of an out-and-in route, and he's wide open. The safety covering him falls down. He slips on the snow. And so if Carter doesn't make that sack, Stafford's going to dump up the ball and get it caught at the 10. He'll walk into the end zone. So just an unbelievable play. And then obviously the 4th down one, harder to go in and convert on it, but he wins again. But that sack is the reason why.
Did you know that already? Did you know already that?
Yeah,
I did. With Dan is recounting.
Yeah, he's not handling the loss well. But I want to go back and ask you because it's 2nd and 7, and the TV broadcast catches Stafford almost angry at McVay about not getting to play in because they didn't want the substitution on the Eagles line because they were so tired. Why?
That was the Kevin Dotson penalty, though.
Yeah, but I'm wondering, because they rushed it and they jump off sides or illegal motion. Why do you not? What's the dynamic on trusting? Just let the quarterback call the play to keep the pace going, or having McVay, one of the great callers, call the play in? Because obviously Stafford wanted that play faster.
Yeah. I think there's a lot that goes into that. Number one, sometimes as a play caller, you're looking at your sheet, reading off your play, specifically down in those areas, because down in the red zone and or 3rd down situations, those are so game plan specific. And those are oftentimes are the ones play calls that are a little bit wordier because they're so new that week. So, I don't know if Sean's looking down at his sheet and he's not paying attention to Matthew, trying to communicate to him. I don't know if Matthew is expecting something different given the situation when it comes to the personnel in the field. And a lot of times it's just the timing of it all. And I think both those guys would tell you they trust themselves and or each other to kind of do what they think is best in that moment.
Yeah, but I wouldn't think. Would you think of less of Sean McVay if he had just told Stafford in the headset, call whatever you want, man, just run it, keep the pace? I would think that's a hell of a coaching job.
Yeah. I again, because those are so specific, and especially obviously hey, 3 points does us nothing here. You really get into we are calling this play because you break your call sheet up into certain moments and situations. So hey, if we're in the high red zone and it's 2nd and 6+ from the 20-yard line, these are going to be our calls. And so in that moment, you're just so ready to make that very specific call for the situation.
Dan Orlovsky is with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. If I'm an Eagles fan, I am concerned, though, Dan, with Washington coming in, because basically my entire offense was a couple of home runs by Saquon Barkley and a home run by Jalen Hurts. And outside of that, I didn't do much of anything. And now here comes Dan Quinn that can confuse the best of offenses. I know the point spread doesn't tell me it's hugely concerning, but if I'm an Eagles fan, my offense is concerning right now.
Yeah, no question. I do think part of it was because the Rams matched up well, and that's kind of the reason why I felt good about them winning the game. I think that if you're an Eagles fan, you're concerned about the injury to Jalen Hurts' knee and how much it impacts him, because obviously he's a big part of the run game threat. Also, the last time these two teams played was the game that Jalen got knocked out with a concussion, and after he went out, the run game was significantly less, and you could tell Washington was teeing off on Saquon. So, what's the knee health? Big part. I think the second thing is you're just concerned with the respect that you have to give this offense in Washington, the style of no-huddle offense that they play, how quickly the ball comes out, how much they make you run sideline to sideline, how much of their offense you just don't see on a week-to-week basis in the NFL, and the fact that the last time they played, he threw for 5 touchdowns and 30-plus points against you. So I do believe that this is a place where Philadelphia is, or at least Washington has Philadelphia's full attention.
Great 1-2 matchup in the AFC, and we were talking about this earlier, Dan. I mean, these are the facts. The last 11 Chiefs playoff games, 10 of their opponents have had more penalty yards called on them. Do you think the Chiefs get the benefit of the doubt from the officials?
I think that we see more moments when the Chiefs get the benefits of the doubts from the officials. I mean, the Chiefs are on national TV basically every week, so we're watching every game that they have. And so are they getting more calls from the officials than the Jags or the Titans? I don't know. I haven't studied it like that, but we never see those teams play, so we don't really know. And obviously, when you're a team that is going on historic three-peat and, you're undefeated for a great majority of the season, like you're just everything and everyone is hyper-focused on them. Do I think that Patrick pushes the boundary to get some calls? Absolutely. Do I think that there's a little bit of a Michael Jordan effect there? Sure. I think as a defense, though, like you have to make sure that you don't cross the line with him. You can't cross the line with him because, there is a lot of attention paid on to quarterbacks. And of course, there's going to be a lot of attention paid on to the best one.
Can you just relate to me how good the Bills have been at not turning the ball over, specifically Josh Allen this year as a guy who played in the league, how remarkable those numbers are this season?
Number one reason why they are where they are. And it is one of the more fascinating quarterback and organizational transformations and developments that we have in the NFL. I mean, this is a team and organization that looked over the past couple of years and said, all right, what we've done is really cool. It's really good. Josh, you've thrown for a gajillion yards and 8,000 touchdowns, and it's awesome. Is it going to win us a Super Bowl? And for the organization to fully buy in on how they're going to play, and I'm talking head coach philosophy and Joe Brady, their offensive coordinator, how he calls plays, how they want to be in game with their adjustments, and the way that they want to play defense, and the attacking of the ball on that side of the ball. And then you go, okay, the quarterback's got to be the person that really buys in and drives it the most. And to see Josh go from in many ways like this gunslinger and super fun to be like really good decision maker and in total control of his game, it's a pretty darn impressive transformation to watch. And it's will be another key on Sunday down in Arrowhead.
Look, I know it's the NFL, but looking forward to February 9th in New Orleans for the Super Bowl, do you believe the winner of Chiefs-Bills is going to win the Super Bowl?
I'm not there. No, I do believe that Philadelphia is still one of the, if not the best rosters in football. And so, I think if Philly gets out of the NFC title game, they very much so, I think they very much so can, beat either Kansas City or Buffalo. If you had to ask me what team I think that Philly matches up better against, I'd probably tell you Kansas City. But while I do believe that heavyweights in the AFC, Philadelphia is still really good.
I have to do this to you almost every week because you say things while we're doing the show on ESPN and people ask Dan about this. So I'm going to do that in a moment. But first, I'll do that right now. The Titans GM met the media yesterday, said the Titans will not pass on a generational player at number one.
Yeah.
That's Travis Hunter, right? I mean, if you're talking about a generational player in this draft, is Travis Hunter the one?
Yeah, I think the kids in the draft, you're confident I don't know if the one. I haven't dove into the college kids yet personally. I haven't started to study Cam Ward and a Shador Sanders in that regard and Abdul Carter in that regard. And I probably, candidly, I'm not going to study Abdul like that because I'm not a draft, analyst at all positions. So you feel confident in saying Travis is one. You're probably going to ask me about my Trevor Lawrence comment.
That is correct. Yes, that's what you apparently said while we were doing the show, that the Titans should trade for Trevor Lawrence.
I would very much so make that call. Okay, so one, Travis Hunter, while maybe sensational, he's not going to be the difference maker in that conference. He just won't when it comes to those big dogs. Number two, I actually think the Titans have good young talent on their football team. I think their team is a better team than the number one pick in the draft team. The quarterback play was just so subpar this year. I think three, if I was Trevor Lawrence, and this was a little bit more of the angle for me, I want out of Jacksonville. I want out of what feels like a mess right now. We fire our coach and then we fire the general manager, and there's reports that certain coaches wanted to go there, but they didn't want to work with the general manager, and those certain coaches would have certainly been better for me if I was Trevor Lawrence. And now the pool of guys that we have the opportunity to get are smaller. Also, like, is anybody going to make me better and help me? Is that coach going to help me in that regard? And so if I'm Trevor Lawrence, I'm, man, get me out of this mess. And I think that if I was Tennessee and that became a thing, I would very much so entertain trading for him.
Keith wants us to ask you about the open coaching spots. Is there a guy you could put in one of these spots that would excite Dan Orlovsky? You would be like, man, they got that right, and I'm excited to see that.
So New Orleans, Dallas, and
Jacksonville,
Las Vegas,
Vegas,
and Jacksonville.
Yeah.
I would be really intrigued with either Joe Brady or Liam Cohen in Jacksonville for Trevor Lawrence. I really would. They're brilliant offensive minds. How these guys lead and control and organize are question marks. You don't know that about them, but you really are intrigued with those guys in Jacksonville with Trevor Lawrence. I'll be interested to see what happens in Las Vegas. It's got three teams loaded, head coach and quarterback. And so, how much of that does impact what their future plans are at quarterback? I think Mike McCarthy has a decent chance in New Orleans. It seems like Brian Schottenheimer is going to be the guy in Dallas. I don't think either of those jump out to me like that. But Jacksonville is the one that has a little bit more of my attention.
All right, he is Dan Orlovsky. See him all weekend, championship weekend, the best weekend in the NFL calendar. Thank you very much for the time, Dan. Have a great weekend.
You too, guys.
All right, buddy. We'll see you, Dan, with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. Real quick, you were out yesterday. Dunaway made the point. We treat that Cowboys job like it is the job everybody wants. And Dan just said what everybody else thinks is they're about to hire Brian Schottenheimer.
Who's already on the staff.
That's unbelievable.
Is a staff that's so bad you let the head coach walk away.
Yep.
Yeah.
It makes really very little sense.
Yeah. I mean, maybe he wasn't calling plays. Maybe he was calling plays, but he's part of the same staff as Mike McCarthy. Why get rid of McCarthy?
I've never understood
to let him be the guy. He's on the offensive side of the ball. That thought brought to you by our friends at Hemp Services, running hot or cold.
Yeah, trust the name Birmingham has trusted since 1954 for all of your plumbing, heating, and cooling issues. Any arise in your home or business, they are ready to serve you. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys there, 205-229-2090. Tell them the next round sent you. For more information, hemphillservices.com.
Okay, just random thought on Orlovsky here real quick. As he joins us, everybody sees him in the car service every week. Now, that's built into your contract at ESPN, that car service is provided. But I was just thinking, do you throw a tip to the driver after every one of these rides?
That's a good question. Like if
every
ESPN's paying for
it,
I assume
what
ESPN
you do is you
tips
tell, hey, look, put 20% on that tab for you.
Yeah, you add it.
Man, I just paid my American Express from December, I guess. But when I was in New York, I was just looking at the charges.
Yeah.
And just between taxis and Ubers, I spent over $600 in 3 days.
Yep. Yeah, it's expensive up there.
I mean, every ride is basically $100.
So he's car servicing from the ESPN studios, which he goes to the ones that are out on the pier.
No, he's going from New York back to Bristol. That's where we get Dan. Yeah.
And what is that commute?
He's on the pier in New York,
right.
and he's getting in the car and he's riding back to Bristol where he lives.
Yeah,
he
he's
lives
not
in that area.
And then he does all the NFL live stuff from Bristol. Yeah. So yeah, he's got the old split schedule.
Yeah, so that's the car service there. That's part of his contract. I was just wondering, So you say the tip is just built into his contract.
Yeah, I kind of agree with Lance. That's when you
got
tell
to be, because I was just thinking to myself.
That's when you tell them, hey, add 30%, man. That's a good drive right there.
Yeah, the tip's probably already built into the contract too. That says it's.
Well, like
driver gets
I just think
15%,
most,
20%
we were our man Keith Wisenhunt up in Ocean City. You remember when they sent us back to that really small airport? He had a car service for us, and he's like, "Hey, look,
picked us up in one, took us back.
Everything's taken care of. You guys don't think about tipping."
I always wonder.
I think we did anyway, though, didn't we?
We might have.
He was a nice guy. Yeah, he was a good dude. It's funny you bring that up. I almost asked Dan this, and I was thinking about it, but we got some listener questions or some viewer questions, and it just got me off track. I wonder if it's the same driver every week, because as soon as he gets in the car, he jumps on with eyes.
That's right.
And I wonder if the same driver every week.
I bet it is.
I was just thinking about that.
Yeah.
And like during the holidays, like, hey, Tony, here's my wife and I have the gift card for you. You give him an envelope, or I mean, it's got to be a very interesting relationship. It just dawns on me when we're watching Orlovsky roll through the tunnels up there.
I wonder what kind of money do you have to make in New York City to have your own car service?
I don't know.
Well, I don't think $1 million. You're not making enough money for a car service.
No, I mean, it's got to be built into your contract for if you're an ESPN personality to be rolling with that, right?
Yeah, but I'm just saying,
From
if
the
you
city
work,
on out.
if you're a big time attorney, if you're a CEO of a company, I mean, what kind of salary do you have to command to be able to pay a driver on a daily basis?
Well, Stephen A. makes what?
He's probably making $5-6 million a year.
Oh no, it's more than that.
It's north of 11.
Yeah, I think it got up to 15.
Yeah,
and were the reports on his new contract. I think he's ESPN's highest paid employee.
But I'm sure when you negotiate your contract with ESPN, you do build a driver in.
Yeah, but I'm just saying. So the only reason Orlovsky comes in to do Get Up and Stephen A.'s First Take. He's on there a lot, those two shows.
That's right.
So Dan has a financial value, but he is an inning eater for them. So it's just coming out of Stephen A.'s budget and Mike Greenberg's budget on the Orlovsky car service.
I mean,
you've got this much to spend on First Take. All right, we got to carve a little out for Orlovsky's car service.
If anybody else showed up on set wearing what Cam Newton wears.
Is he balding? Is that why he is wearing all these hats all the time?
I don't know. He looks like he's got a Union soldier hat on with my grandmother's glasses.
Yeah, what do you call the glasses?
It's chain. He's got a chain on his glasses.
Yeah, but what is that called that holds the specs?
It's a lanyard if you've got like a credential or something on. I don't know what you call it with a glasses chain.
No, what's it called when the frat boys wear it?
They used to be croquis way back in the day.
I used to wear
and then
croquis.
The cables, I think.
Cables, yeah.
Those are brand names,
people.
though, right?
Yeah,
Maybe.
cables are local people.
Yeah, but I'm just wondering, there is a name for that holds the glasses around your neck.
I'm just seeing it as called glasses chain, and then I found Stephen A. Smith's salary. It's totals $12 million a year. $8 million of that is base salary, and then $4 million is a production contract.
Ooh, yeah. A production contract sounds a little.
Stephen A. Productions is producing the show every day.
Sounds like we got some air quotes around the phrase production contract.
And there's the picture of Cam.
Yeah,
right
it's something else.
Yeah. And I just wonder, when's the last time you saw Cam without a hat?
It's been a while. I randomly stumbled across this TikTok of he and Tim Tebow playing pickleball against somebody, and I don't think he was wearing a hat then.
Oh, wow.
But I could be wrong.
I remember seeing that too. Yeah.
A lot of women, especially on TV, that have longer hair as extensions. Is there any chance that Cam has extensions?
Oh, it could be. That
It's
could
possible.
be fake. I don't know.
It's possible.
I mean, do dudes have extensions?
I bet movie stars do. Absolutely.
I mean, if you're wearing a toupee, you're not that far from extensions.
Yeah, just a little glue here or there.
Yeah. Depends on what you want your toupee to look like.
All right, one more thing to get to in this segment after LT tells us about our friends at Michelson. We were debating yesterday. Has it been 23 years?
It will be 22 years in
22.
April when I got the procedure done. Again, that's when Dr. Michelson was right up here at the Summit Shopping Centers, now conveniently located. UAB Highlands, 205-969-8100. Ask for Amy. Tell her the next round sent you. They're going to hook you up with that hassle-free consultation. Zero to find out if LASIK is right for you. Dr. Mark Michelson, the first to perform LASIK back in 1995. If you have any questions at all, you can always go online, michelsonlaservision.com. One of the best decisions I made going to see Dr. Mark Michelson. Dr. Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, best in the business, 205-969-8100 or michelsonlaservision.com.
Auburn's getting ready for the big game with Tennessee this weekend down at Neville Arena. Game days in town. Bruce Pearl earlier this week at the Tip-Off Club from our friends at ABC 3340. This is Bruce talking about winning these games without Janai Broome.
You know, Janai Broome has got a chance to be Player of the Year this year in college basketball. He's our leading rebounder. He's our leading scorer. He goes to the foul line more than anybody else. He leads our team in block shots. He's one of our leaders in assists. You know, I mean, so he's an important piece. More than that, but we're a team, and it's got to be next man up. And so Dylan Carwell and Chaney Johnson have done a great job as starters. And then the other day, you know, Jaheim Huston comes off the bench, plays 18 minutes at Georgia, and just does a terrific job. So you know, we've got to find a way to continue to get better if we're going to have a chance to, you know, to continue to win in this league with this schedule. So that's what our focus is, and you know, so far so good.
This Tennessee team lost on the road at Vandy. How come I'm not more excited for this game Saturday night?
I think if it was in Knoxville, you would be.
Yeah, it would be a different feel.
Yeah, it would be a different feel altogether.
But I just don't see this Tennessee team.
I don't either.
Playing with this Auburn team, with or without Janai Broome down at Neville Arena.
Yeah, I don't know if Tennessee breaks 60 points.
What would it take to win, you think? I mean,
LT is telling you 61.
No, I think they need to score 70 to win this game.
The stats will tell you it's a low-scoring game. Now, Auburn's offense, according to KenPom, I know Alabama's leads the nation in points per game, but as far as offensive efficiency goes, Auburn is number 1, Alabama is number 2. So the KenPom efficiency stats has Auburn number 1. But the defenses in this game, and Tennessee's not bad. They're 23rd, but the defenses of this game are number 3 and number 19. Number 3, Tennessee, number 19. So interesting matchup with the best KenPom offense versus the third best KenPom defense. Probably tells you a lot of the story. Is this the best backcourt Auburn has seen?
Most experience?
I mean, when you
think at NBA experience.
When you talk about what they saw in Hawaii with Iowa State,
it's good. I mean, but you give me this one is really, really good. I mean, you got Sakai Sigler, and he's, of the two, probably not the guy that would be a first-team all-conference player right now.
But again, to me, he is so hot or cold.
Who's Ziegler?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, their scorer is Lanier.
Yeah, Lanier's the scorer.
Yeah, they don't have a Dalton Connect like they had last year. They had the great defense, and you had a guy that could go for 40. And I just don't think you've got that. Lanier's good. Ziegler is, I mean, he does a lot of things, but as far as like on the offensive end, you're right. There is inconsistencies.
I mean, with these two brands, again, I think Tennessee was the regular season champion last year. Auburn was the SEC tournament champion last year. Alabama went to the Final Four. So these are the three brands in the league right now. So these two brands getting together, and with game day, I should be more excited about this primetime game, but the gut tells me Tennessee doesn't hold the water.
But
here.
it still is Tennessee. It's still a really good defensive team. They've got a lot of experience. You got a really good coach in Rick Barnes.
Our Stews ask the question we ask a lot of Lance. What do you think the line is?
I think Auburn will be. Is Broome going to play?
Let's say do two lines.
Yeah.
But I'm going to write down the number I think
Broome
it
line
is.
and non-Broome line.
I don't think it matters.
I think it would be limited minutes.
I think it's about a 1.5 difference. I think with Broome playing, I think Auburn is 10. I think without him, he's 8.5.
Wow,
10.
I went 6.5. Was my vote.
So the ESPN College Game Day is launching their season, their own campus portion, in Auburn for a game where the visiting team could be a 10-point dog, which is pretty big in college basketball.
That's 20 points in Rick Barnes' years.
Yeah, that's true.
The way he likes to play.
Okay, but Auburn just played on the road, right?
They did.
And where was that game?
That game was in Athens.
In Athens, and that was a Georgia team that had yet to lose. Mm-hmm. And Auburn without Broome was 6.5 points.
6.5 point favorite.
Great point.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great point.
Yeah, I think it'll be around 10.
Little T will have your coverage from Auburn on our social media platform coming up Saturday morning from game day, Saturday post game. I'll be in Tuscaloosa for all your reaction. Don't forget the basketball show taped version out tomorrow morning leading into those games. A new Bama and Bourbon is out. We gave you a little bit of that from LT and Aaron Suttles. That dropped yesterday. You can get that on our video and our audio platforms wherever you get the show. When we come back, Trash Today and some final thoughts on what is going on an NFC AFC Championship weekend and a big SEC basketball weekend straight ahead on the next round.
Call the next round now at 205-734-0923.
Looking for a great place for that boring meeting? Leave the office and go to the Golfus. What about corporate events like board meetings, sales meetings, customer appreciation events? How about the Golfus? Watch parties for football and basketball, parties for birthdays or couple showers. The Golfus is a great place for those. The Golfus has Birmingham's best golf simulators and man caves in Vestavia on Highway 31, opening soon in Trussville and on Highway 280. Bring whatever you want to eat or drink, even bring your own clubs. Get out of the office. Go to the Golfus. Book your spot now at thegolfus.com.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Let's face it, a home is one of the most powerful assets you can have, and our friends at Mortgage Right want to help you build wealth through home ownership. Mortgage Right is all about providing competitive rates, a variety of loan products, and a multitude of resources for a seamless home buying experience. They treat their borrowers like family and are always looking to bring more happy homeowners under their roof. See more by visiting mortgageright.com/TNR today and start living. That's mortgageright.com/TNR. NMLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Since you listened to my last message so well and got rid of those cargo shorts and stained t-shirts, it's time to replace them with Rhoback. Go to Rhoback.com and click on the refreshed collection to find all that you need for an EG-approved wardrobe. It includes pieces that will have you ready to hit the golf course after a busy day of meetings or comfy favorites for travel and working from home. Get 20% off using code TNR20. See, I'm saving you some money.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com.
It's time to pull the trigger on the Next Round merch that you've been eyeing. We know there's a lot to choose from at nextround.store, so here's a few of our favorite picks. If you want to match LT and Brown, go with a TNR logo hoodie and throw in one of Dunaway's favorite hats. Any of them will do. The Backroom's go-to is the classic logo t-shirt, while my personal favorite is the light blue TNR crew neck. All of these items can be found at nextround.store and are EG approved. Rest assured, your order will be packed with lots of love from us here at the Next Round. Head over to nextround.store to start filling up your cart.
Back with you on the Next Round. I'll ask this SEC basketball question, brought to you by our friends at Storm Restoration Roofing. You love Life Depends on It. Life depends on it. SEC basketball national champion or the field basketball national champion?
Life depends on it, and I would take the SEC. Yeah, because I don't know who scares me. Michigan State's having quietly a really good year at 16-2. I'm not buying them.
I was just going to go through the KenPom. Duke.
Yeah, go ahead.
Duke.
I could buy Duke winning the national championship. They would scare me.
Houston. There have been better Houston teams
I agree.
that can't get to the Final Four.
Yeah,
so,
this is like Kirby Smart Georgia this year. There's something off about this Houston team.
And this Houston team kind of reminds me of this year's Gonzaga team, who's further down. But,
and I think Kelvin Sampson's a really good coach, but it seems like he finds a way not to win the championship more often than not.
Don't see it.
Iowa State?
Possibly, but I would feel much better about multiple SEC teams.
Kansas?
No.
Something's off about this Kansas team. Too.
Illinois?
Nope.
Purdue?
Nope.
Texas Tech?
Nope.
Michigan?
Nope.
Marquette?
Nope.
You just said Michigan State.
Marquette is good, but I just hard to believe.
The Zags?
Nope.
Arizona?
Nope.
St. John's?
Nope.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm out
you're
of
out
the
of
20s.
options at that
I'm into the
point.
20s now. Yeah.
No, I feel actually, I think Duke is right there. I think Iowa State could make some noise. We'll see how good Michigan State is. They are pretty good.
They are.
I think it's an SEC team, and if you think it's an SEC team, Auburn is obviously your favorite.
I mean,
right?
the pecking order is Auburn, Alabama, and everyone else right now.
That's kind of the hard thing. It's like Marquette, we haven't seen it since '77. Iowa State, we've never seen it. It's hard to imagine Alabama or Auburn winning a national championship in basketball. But I do want to do this sooner. Maybe we could do it tomorrow, because I've been thinking about this. Of the 16 SEC schools, how many can you definitively say football school or basketball school?
Okay. Like right now, not historically, but at this moment in time.
In this moment in time.
I'll write it down for tomorrow right now.
I was going to say St. John's at 20th. That guy can just flat out coach.
He can.
He may be, you can call him a lot of names, you can criticize it for a lot of things, but the one thing you can't say is that Rick Pitino can't coach basketball. That dude is a genius.
Absolutely can. Storm Restoration Roofing is run by a genius as well, Greg Nelson. When it comes to the roofing industry, this guy, he just did it with hard work and just good down-home values about just giving the customer what they pay for, and actually gives them a little bit more than what they pay for. That's how Greg built his business. Locally owned for over 2 decades, family-owned. It is Storm Restoration Roofing, 205-542-3531, 205-542-3531. Just start with the free, no-obligation roof inspection. He'll climb onto your freaking roof and get up there and tell you anything that's going on up there and give you his 2 cents worth, and it doesn't cost you a dime, right? He'll do that for you. And he's so good at helping you with all the paperwork and getting you through the insurance process. There's great value in that, too. Just a good dude, good family operation. It is Storm Restoration Roofing. Greg from Pell City, 205-542-3531. Give him a call when it comes to your roofing needs. You're a big fan of Vuori, right?
Yeah, it's good product.
It's only been around 10 years as of yesterday. $5 billion valuation. That's pretty good. Pretty good growth in 10 years to $5 billion valuation.
Holy crap.
That obviously grew a lot faster than Nike ever did. I remember Under Armour had a big growth in the early 2000s.
Yeah, I love their shorts. I wear their shorts a lot.
Yeah, Vuori's got a good product.
Yeah, I had a pair on yesterday.
And I wonder where Lululemon's valuation is. It's got to be a lot more than that.
Oh, it's got to be through the roof, right?
Yeah, if
I don't know what it
$5
is.
billion, it's got to be at least double that.
I bet Lulu's got $5 billion in college age girls. That's their valuation.
Maybe $5 billion in the building up here.
If just their college age girls bought it.
Yeah, and then we have an old friend who used to work in Alabama Sports Information, Roots Woodruff, who sent Brown and me a picture last night. Brown, were we doing the show together yet?
We were, yeah. We were Dunaway and Brown back in the day.
I didn't know we were doing the show yet. I thought maybe this was right before we were even doing the show together. But we did a media day basketball practice and pickup game.
Mark Godfrey put us through an actual practice. Yeah,
at Coleman Coliseum. If we can zoom in a little bit there to the 2 young men in the middle there. There's Brown on the front row and me right there in midsection there. Posing like I'm posing for the freaking national championship.
I see a little Dubberly there.
Yeah, Dubberly, Mike Dubberly right there next to me.
Is that Sheldon Haygood in the back?
I don't think that one is.
Who's that to your right, Dunaway?
To my right, that is...
Put Dunaway on the spot.
To my right, I don't know. To my left is...
it's Chase Goodbread.
Chase Goodbread, that's right.
The NFL Network's Ian Rappaport, lead NFL reporter for the NFL Network's in this photo.
Yeah.
Not this one, but in the bigger photo.
Yeah. So interesting to get that picture.
Dunaway had some hair there.
I know.
I did. I was rocking. I had a thick neck, too. Look at that. I had a little muscle built.
That's right.
Going on there. I do remember, though, that we started practice off running, what's it, when you run and touch
Suicides?
and then back and then run and touch and back. And I tapped out. I did not want to play the game because my legs were burning so bad. I tapped out.
I remember you guys tapping out at Pure Bar.
Yeah, tapped out at Pure Bar, too. But it was good to get that memory back there from Mark Godfrey's day. And that was back where fewer people complained about Coleman Coliseum than they do now.
Look how bright it is that day.
It really was. I mean, that's a good-looking picture.
Yeah, a lot of bald heads in that picture, bouncing off.
Yeah, there's Scott Griffin.
I see him, the Griffer.
Yeah, next to Al Del Greco over there.
That's funny. Al wouldn't wear the Alabama team shirt there. Al, I don't blame him, played at Auburn.
That's right.
But Del Greco was there.
Yeah, crazy. Old times there. That gets us to Trash Today, brought to you by our friends.
Wait, real quick. Do we have the photo I sent you? I got to.
Oh, wait.
Did you pull it or no?
It's our photo album of the day.
I sent you a text. No big deal. The one I sent somebody from Atlanta yesterday was like, "Does Dunaway have a brother?" And they sent me a picture.
Not another guy.
Presentation.
Is this like
the guy eating the banana
no, it
with
looks,
a spoon?
No. I mean, this looks as much like Dunaway, I think, as the one eating with the spoon.
So all of a sudden, we've got a segment. It's like, where in the hell is SVP?
Hey, work for SVP.
It's a bald guy with glasses. Is that what
I
we're
was
doing?
like, Dunaway does have a brother, but he doesn't work in Atlanta.
But this came from Atlanta.
And he's younger than me and looks nothing like me.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen your brother. There is some resemblance.
Very little.
I would not, like if...
Still has hair.
If I saw him... Yeah.
2 inches taller than me and a Marine.
I've never met your brother. I've never met your brother.
You met my brother. My brother looks nothing like me.
Yeah, my three brothers look nothing like me.
My brother is blonde hair, blue eye.
Yep.
I mean, that's as opposite from me as you can get. I'm dark hair, brown eye.
You just stopped with my brother was a Marine.
Well,
so we look nothing. We look nothing alike.
Nothing alike.
I tapped out of a media day basketball pseudo practice. My brother went to Paris Island.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's a difference.
A little bit of a difference.
There's a difference. My dad's proud of one and not
there
the
it
other.
is.
Oh, wow.
We look nothing alike.
Well, that is it.
I mean, we're both bald. Nothing alike in the face.
I mean, I see some similarities.
I mean, Jim shut it down quick.
I don't. I mean,
so Dunaway's lost weight now, so.
Well, that guy's not thick.
No, that guy's skinnier than I am.
I'm just saying you've lost weight, so you're not going to be like, well, I'm the ugliest man in the room.
Yeah.
Oh, there's some resemblance there.
Not in the face, no.
Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, obviously in the bald head.
So is that what we've become? Just anybody
Yeah,
bald?
I don't think
that's what it
that's
was with SVP for a while.
Yeah.
Trash Time brought to you by our friends at Mortgage Right. Tyler, if you'll hit it, man.
Well, listen, we've got to do this. Let me hear you all say E-L-G-L-E-S, Eagles! Let's go, Birds!
LT's Trash is presented by Mortgage Right. Mortgages done the right way.
Hey, if you're looking for a new home, our friends at Mortgage Right here to help. Whether you're a first-time buyer or seasoned home buying veteran, their great service and low rates make the process so easy. Speaking of veterans, veteran founded right here in Birmingham. So remember, whether you're looking for your final home, your first home, whether you have a big down payment or need 100% financing, Mortgage Right, one-stop shop for mortgages. Visit them online at mortgageright.com. Call 205-900-7200, NMLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender.
E-L-G. How'd she spell it? E-L-G-E-S?
Yeah. Which got everyone off at that point, right?
Yeah.
It's like when
E-L-G-S-E-S.
S-E-S? Is that how she spelled it?
Very close.
She had the beat off, like, when they're playing Glory, Glory at Auburn games, it works out perfectly. A-U-B-U-R-N.
Right.
In Georgia, they have to squeeze in another letter.
They have to add a beat.
Yeah, and that's the way that sounded. They got off.
Where
balance.
are you guys on the Oreo cookie?
Could take it or leave it. I haven't had one in a very long time. Not a particularly big fan.
Yeah, that's why. Like I was talking to Taylor this morning about them. She was like, "I never seek them out. I'm not a big fan.
Yep.
Late night in a pinch, I would knock some out.
Yeah, I mean, if it's all I had, I'd eat it. I probably like the golden Oreo better than I do the original Oreo.
Well,
I just not a. I mean, I like homemade cookies, not a packaged store bought cookie anymore.
It's amazing that all of us agree, but Oreo is like one of the most popular cookies on the planet.
Is. There's no doubt.
So they've done partnerships with everyone and everything from Lady Gaga to Coca-Cola. Now Post Malone.
Oh wow!
New limited edition of the sweet treat constructed around a swirled cream. It's first of its kind. It combines salted caramel and shortbread flavors, which I like both.
I do too.
Creepiest
All
advertisement.
sandwiched between a chocolate Oreo cookie and one of their golden cookies. This actually might be pretty good.
So it's a chocolate and a golden with a caramel and shortbread in the middle.
Yeah.
Boy, that sounds like a big cookie.
It's going to be Oreo size, just a big flavor.
Oh, we got a picture.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So it's one wafer is golden, one wafer is chocolate. I see
and then
now.
you've got
Okay.
the other in between.
I would. I think I would like that better than a normal Oreo.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
I would definitely give it a shot.
So are we saying in this that Post Malone is also a swirl? Is that what he's saying? That he's a mixture of flavors and colors?
Post Malone said in a prepared statement, "Can't believe, quote, they let me make my own Oreo cookie. It's the first time Oreo has ever twisted the cream of the cookie, and they named it after me."
Yeah.
I'd like to try it. You know what I would be?
I'm all Post Malone now since we heard the Floribama story.
Yeah, it's a great story.
Great.
Between February and March 31st.
I would be very likely to twist off the chocolate part and just eat the bottom half.
Yeah, I agree. Like that chocolate cookie's just not that good.
Yeah, it doesn't do it for me. I'm with you on that. And the bottom half actually looks pretty good. The gold with the caramel and
limited edition Post Malone Oreo cookie packs available for pre-sale starting January 27th, but fans can sign up early access Oreo.com.
Yeah, but I will tell you the Girl Scout cookie has
not a fan.
Quality has gone down in recent years as well.
Yeah, I'll still eat the Thin Mint and the Samoa, but past that, I'm pretty much out.
I like, what is their shortbread?
The Tagalong?
The Tagalong?
Is that it?
I like their
Or is that the
shortbread.
peanut butter one?
I think the Tagalong's the peanut butter.
You know what? Girl Scout cookies remind me of the Valentine box of chocolates.
Yeah.
Like,
I always hated those.
they're just not good. It's like sweet. Okay, I get it, but like.
The Girl Scout cookie reminds me of the coworker everybody had that would walk through the office and shake everybody down, and you felt awful about saying no.
Yeah.
We had one
every year
girl that we worked with. It was
every
nonstop.
But then
year,
wouldn't
Tyler.
return the favor because my kids were involved with that, and so I wouldn't bother anybody else.
Nope.
But I would go back to that person because I felt like it was a yin and a yang.
And how did that work out, by the way?
Did not buy back.
Never got a yes?
Nope,
that
buy
person
back.
didn't happen to need wrapping paper for my kids' choir program?
Yeah.
No?
Yeah.
Funny how that works, isn't
mine
it?
didn't want to buy that $20 card that gets you 10% off of all the stores, the Dairy Queens and the stuff.
In high school, we had cookie dough sales.
Yeah,
and it was
yeah,
extremely expensive
My
for
kids
cookie
did
dough.
that. Yeah, my kids did that.
I'm so old. Sadly, we had it was these one. It was I think
Government
it was
cheese.
One, it was one. It was these bars of chocolate, and it was you had two
Support the
kinds. You had
troops.
kinds with peanuts in it, or kinds with the crunch.
Oh, I remember those.
And
Yeah.
I can't remember if it was 50 cents.
But it wasn't name brand. It wasn't like Nestle. It was some
like
random
American
brand.
Star or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
And it was either 50 cents or $1 is what the price was, and we had to sell it. And they came in a little handled box.
Yeah.
And you'd sell the box, and you'd come back. You were competing for something. You'd get another box. You'd go try to sell those.
But I'll never forget my choir teacher, Connie Burleson, choir legend Connie Burleson from over in Calhoun County, would bring the guy in and he'd do the presentation of all the stuff you could sell. But the big thing was if you sold so much, what you could get.
That's right.
And we were all fired up. Oh, man, if I just sell 8,000 candy bars, I can get that bicycle.
Yeah, and then after you get your first no, everybody's like, I'm out. I'm so discouraged.
I'll get my parents to buy me a bike.
But we used to only have one Krispy Kreme in town back when Krispy Kreme donuts were big, and we would have to drive to Birmingham. It was out near Eastwood.
It was.
Yeah.
It was
and we would have to drive
Yep.
out there, and we'd pick up a whole big van, church van, of Krispy Kreme donuts, and we have a donut sale for baseball fundraiser or for
I remember
church
that. Yeah,
fundraisers.
my dad had to come over here one very early one morning to get
You
the
had to be there at
boxes.
sunrise, yeah.
For the baseball team. I had to drive all the way from Anniston over here. I rode with him.
And then we did donut sales.
He smelled donuts all the way home.
And
It's
now
a
you can
great
get
smell for like the
3-day-old Krispy Kremes at any convenience store.
Yeah. It was a great smell for the first 5 minutes of the drive,
Yeah.
and then by the time you got back to Anniston, you're like, "My God, I will never eat another donut."
But I will tell you, that was the quickest sales before you're out of the parking lot. The people in the truck had already bought a couple of boxes. And you're eating those things piping hot, dropping back.
That's
It was
the thing,
best.
man. It's like almost a 10 when they're piping hot.
That's right. They just melt in your mouth at that point.
But by the minute they drop.
Yep.
A Maine Coon cat named Mittens became an accidental jet setter this month when her cage was overlooked in a plane cargo hold. And she made 3 trips in 24 hours between New Zealand and Australia.
I would tell you this, that there's no way I'm going to bed with that creature in my house.
Is that like a Trump plush
It is
toy?
a Donald Trump pet plush toy, yes. That's what that is.
It's got like Chucky hair from Child's Play. Now, Mittens, 8 years old, booked for one-way travel with her family from New Zealand to their new home in Melbourne, Australia, January 13th. But the owner, Margot Ness, said Wednesday that as she waited for Mittens to be unloaded from the plane's freight area, 3 hours passed with no sign of the cat. It was then that the ground staff told Ness that the plane had returned to New Zealand with Mittens still aboard. The return trip involves about 7.5 hours in the air. Quote, I said, how can this happen? Oh, my God. The Air New Zealand pilot was told of the extra passenger during the flight, turned on the heating in the cargo to hold Mittens comfortable. They went on to add, Nias was told that a stowed wheelchair had obscured a baggage handler's view of Mittens' cage. Now, Mittens lost weight, but otherwise was unharmed. Quote, she basically just ran into my arms, just snuggled up in here, and just did the biggest cuddles of all time. Now, Air New Zealand would reimburse all costs associated with Mittens' travel and has apologized for the distress.
Well, I'm a Forester. That cat wants your soul. That's what Scott says.
Yeah, that cat does not. Yeah. That cat's
that's
lived lives before and was not on the good side of evil in the past.
I might not sleep tonight after seeing that close up.
Yeah, that first one with the Trump toy is that is a scary movie. Yes.
Well, go back to the woman. She looks a little out of whack too.
A little witchy.
She got a little Jenna Elfman in her.
But go back to the big one. Look
Boy,
how
that's a
big.
blast from the
Look
past.
how big that cat is next to. I mean, use the woman as a reference.
That's a Maine Coon.
I mean, look at that. That's a big cat.
Am I right about Jenna Elfman?
Jenna Elfman meets Angela from The Office.
I was going to say Angela from The Office.
Yeah, it's Jenna Elfman and that Angela girl. Yep. I wish I could remember her actual
speaking
name.
of flights, California couple is suing JetBlue for $1 million, alleging that a large chunk of ice from one of the airline's planes crashed through their ceiling right over their bed. Now, according to court documents reviewed by CBS News, Michael Reese and Leah were sleeping in bed January 1st, 2024, when a, quote, large block of ice came through the roof. Lawsuit claims the chunk of ice was the size of a watermelon, and the couple barely escaped devastating physical injury. How in the hell do you barely escape? Like, if that thing's coming through, you don't know it. It's not like you're able to read and react.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would think it either just hits you or it doesn't.
Right.
I didn't escape. It just missed me.
How do they know it's from that particular JetBlue?
That's an excellent question.
So the aircraft suspected to have dropped ice on a Massachusetts home August 23. The suit alleges that JetBlue failed to, quote, investigate and correct the problems causing the water issues, falling ice blocks on January 11, 2024. 10 days after the ice fell on the plaintiff's home, the plane was flagged, so its potable water system, valve, and drain could be removed and inspected. Plane was removed from service in February of 2024 for repairs, according to the lawsuit. JetBlue said they would not comment on the lawsuit because of ongoing litigation, but they said the company, quote, safety is number one priority and guides everything we do. Now, according to the lawsuit, the chunk of ice caused extensive damage to the roof, and the couple have suffered, quote, severe emotional distress. They said it has resulted in insomnia for the one dude, Michael Reese, a commercial driver. He's had to turn down work because he's having to attend therapy because he is anxious and depressed.
I feel like he might be overplaying that a little bit, don't you?
Yeah.
That's going to help in the lawsuit.
Okay, but if JetBlue comes in and now says, we will pay to repair your home totally, if they are admitting that it is ours, and we will pay for your home totally to be repaired, and a little extra for your time and trouble. I mean, what's the number?
Here's what they're saying. I think they are playing this up a bit. Planes pass over their home every 5 minutes because they're right outside of an airport.
They want to move.
Quote, we cringe in fear with each plane that flies overhead.
They're angling for a new house in a different neighborhood is what they're angling for. I don't know if I can live here anymore thanks to JetBlue.
Now, the couple is suing JetBlue for negligence, according to the lawsuit, and for trespassing. Now, the couple, they're asking for a jury trial on the charges.
The plane didn't come in your house.
They're asking for $360,000 for property damages, $40,000 in medical expenses, $300,000 for emotional distress, and $300,000 for pain.
That's right. The $600,000. That's what we like to call a new house, different neighborhood. Yeah. We live next to the airport. We don't like it here.
So what if we decided, okay, if I'm JetBlue, and we'll say, okay, let's do this. You tell us which home, what neighborhood you want to buy. That'll be the payment. We will pay you if you want to buy over here.
Yeah,
we'll move you to this neighborhood. Yeah. It's a $375,000 home. We'll buy that. That's your settlement.
That seems like a good settlement to me. That's right.
I would take that in a heartbeat.
No house payment. Now you can sleep. You don't have to worry about a plane.
But as far as the emotional distress, like if somebody kicks your front door open, you have a home invasion. I get that. That's something PTSD you probably live with forever. Yeah. If this block of ice falls through, takes one of your legs off, I get that. But just because it falls and it hits next to you. I mean, don't people have trees fall in their house all the time?
Yeah, they do.
It does happen frequently.
Yeah, can't sue the trees.
Okay, the theater chain Cinemark celebrated National Popcorn Day. When was National Popcorn Day, by the way?
Oh, it had to be Monday night.
They allowed customers to bring in their own items with popcorn. Customers were encouraged to be creative as long as their container was under 400 ounces. Here are some of the weirdest.
Okay, here are the weirdest Cinemark popcorn is the story we're on now.
Tyler's struggling to get these open. We'll be with you momentarily. And there we go. That's a crock pot.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got to know what's in the popcorn.
Seems kind of heavy to carry your popcorn around.
That's a bit bulky for me, yes.
Okay, next one.
The chum bucket.
Okay, that's from the old SpongeBob.
That's a lot of popcorn.
Yeah,
is that more than 400 ounces? It feels like it is.
If I'm bringing a whole nightstand in, that seems like a pain in the ass.
I don't know how you measure that either.
I don't
as
either.
Far as, fluid ounces.
Wouldn't be comfortable eating popcorn out of somebody's nightstand.
I don't think I would either. What else has been in that drawer, Lance?
I think we know.
Oh, wow. Yeah,
okay.
wow. The way you're holding it, too, is a little weird.
I do, by the way, know what's been in that pocket.
Yes, that's true. That's a lot of
pouch.
My man's got some white teeth.
Connor O'Gara, no.
That's just a blender.
I'd call that a vat.
Yeah.
A vat of popcorn. Oh,
Okay.
an entire cooler. Okay. These people love their popcorn.
I'm going to be here in a few days.
Last one.
I'll be here a few days.
Why don't you...
Do we have a Sin Mark close by?
I don't think so.
I don't either.
I don't think there's one close by. We have a Regal somewhere around here, but the biggest chain around here is AMC.
That's Tyler's people.
Yeah.
AMC.
Do you have an AMC tattoo yet?
No, but...
if they gave you movies for life, but you've got to get a decent-sized AMC, would you do it?
Dollar bill size.
I don't think so.
Oh, wow.
Well, you go to the movies a lot.
Yeah.
That'd be a savings of $25 a month for you.
Yeah, not worth it.
Okay. That adds up over time, Tyler.
I'm picturing two opening night spotlights
over the AMC logo.
I just want
logo.
the regular AMC logo on your chest, but you get movies for life and all the concessions you want.
Yeah, all concessions. Popcorn.
He's thinking.
Dollar bill size.
Yeah. Dollar bill Lawson or just a normal dollar bill?
Dollar bill.
Dollar bill size? No, that's a little too big.
All right.
Wow. Hey, it is buying season always. Our friends at Mortgage Right here to help. Veteran founded here in Birmingham, offer loans throughout the country. While the area they serve may have grown, their commitment to Birmingham and veterans has not changed. Before you take the next steps on a new home purchase or refinance, talk with the team at Mortgage Right. No cost or obligation to find out what you qualify for. 205-900-7200 NMLS 2239 Equal Housing Lender.
One of the more surprising moments of the show. Thought that was going to be an easy yes.
I did
out of Tyler
too.
right there.
Yeah.
That was an easy yes out of Tyler.
Because he gets 0 for some of his other tattoos.
Well, I know.
But you'd step it up, like if we were to give you a Honda Accord, and you get a new one every 3 years, but you got to have a big Honda tattoo on you. Would you do it?
Dollar bill size again. We'll go dollar bill on all these.
All right, that's a little more reasonable.
Okay.
Not having to ever have a car payment again is different.
All right,
from
and a new ride every 3 years.
$40.
Okay.
And the Honda logo is probably better looking.
I never
Probably
said
could do something with that. It could be a little bit edgier.
Would get a tattoo, but I remember when I used to drive the Ram trucks all the time, they did those fake tattoos down at the beach, and Jack had the Ram on his bicep.
Yeah.
I would get one of those if I got a new Ram truck every 4,500
Ram
miles.
on your bicep?
I guess. Why not? I'm with Tyler. That's a big expense.
Yeah.
It is.
And new car every 3 years. Let's don't overlook that. Basically, you got a lease for life.
That's our show today. We're back with you tomorrow on the live version of this at 9 a.m. Central every day, 9 to 12. If you're new to the show, if you're watching us on replays, as always, live or replay, thumbs up, like and subscribe, comment, not American, but on Apple and Spotify podcasts as well. Don't forget the other shows like Bama and Bourbon that's available on our platform and all the great stuff we have on all the social platforms at Next Round Live. Until next time, God bless you and God bless America.
We finished the show with Stone.